That's Shyvana base skin.
That's Aatrox.
I should tell you, there are no defaults.
No default skins. Okay,
No
okay,
default
then I know that. Okay, never mind then. Forget about it.
Oh, this is so disgusting with the big gun in the front.
Why do you think I chose it?
I mean, it's Hainun Jin, I think.
I'll just say Jessica Aatrox.
Hammerclaw Aatrox.
At first sight, I would say it's Ainun Senna. Yeah, it has to be Ainun Senna.
Ainun Senna?
Hainun Senna.
Hainun Senna. I mean, I'll say Hainun Senna, but I don't think that's it, for sure not.
That's correct.
Okay.
What is that shit?
That's not even a champion in league.
How is it called? I don't know how it's called, the fucking skin, but I know it's Bard, and I know which and how it looks like. It's the pirate one, like the one with the
Who has a hammer?
Do I have to say the exact name of the skin?
Yes.
Can I just say the color of the skin?
No.
Because this is Blue Orn.
That's a Bard skin. I don't know the Bard skin though. I know it's called Cosmic Reaver or something. I'll say that.
Cosmic Reaver Bar.
Yeah.
nah, just Bard.
Oh,
Yeah, I will say Warden Nautilus, but it's not that one.
No, I have no clue. Like Greybeard Veigar.
Thunderlord Orn, I would say.
Orn. Elderwood.
It's a orange skin. Firewood, I don't know.
It's the Blue Orn. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
That's a sleigh, I'm pretty sure. Who's the one like riding it?
I don't know. I have no clue, man.
Just say champion. What if you're right?
Baroon Corky.
The Singed skin, the winter one, but I don't know the name. Like the winter post Singed or something like this.
That's the Snow Day Singed. Snow Day Singed.
This is Snow Day Singed, I think.
Snow Day Singed. I don't know.
Yeah. Is?
This is Snowboarding Singed.
I mean, you'll get correct for that. It's Snow Day Singed. You were,
Snow
you
Days.
were definitely close.
I just don't know the name of the skin, but I know the skins.
Yeah, you were close. You know, last year, Svene said, if you don't remember, it's always singed if you don't know.
Okay, I'll remember that one.
Yeah.
I'll trust Sena next time.
Oh, what is that skin on? That's Volibear, by the way.
This is Volibear. For sure.
Is it the free skin you got on Volibear? I mean, it's for sure a Volibear skin, or is it like the 8 strike sky strike or whatever?
Is it Volibear? It's Volibear.
I knew it pre-rework. I know it, like the how it looked like, but this is Volibear.
Thundra Volibear.
Thunderlord Volibear, maybe?
Thunderlord? I'll say Thunderlord Volibear.
God King. God King Volibear.
Mountain Rage Volibear.
I will say Fulgor Volibear because I don't have the name of the skin.
It is Rune Guard Volleyball.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about that one, so I'm fine.
That's a Garen skin, I believe. Could be something else.
It seems like kinda more the case though.
What is that? That's That's Ben 10. Could be an Alistar skin.
I mean, it looks like Can't Milk Those, but I'm pretty not sure. I'm not sure if it's that one.
Could be a Mundo skin as well. Oh no.
Maybe it's not Mordekaiser. Because I don't see any skin looking like this.
Kisante? Empyrean, I don't know.
This is the red Alistar. I know it. It's like orange Alistar. I know it. It's not Matador, it's... no idea. I'll just say Alistar.
I mean, I'll say like Minotaur Alistar.
Black Frost Alistar, I don't know. I have no clue.
Oh, that's is it Infernal Alistar?
Infernal Alistar.
Cowboy Alistar.
I would say Pentakill, but it's not Pentakill.
This is Infernal Alistar.
Oh, true! Oh yeah, oh that was not that hard to be honest.
That's a Lux skin, I believe. But it could be a Karma skin, they all look the same. And it's just impossible to guess the right skin, I feel like.
Is this Janna or? It's like... Yeah, it's probably Janna.
I'll say like... Elderwood Lux. Oh my god, is it Caitlyn? Oh my god, my friends will kill me if I don't find this one.
Oh, that's Caitlyn for sure.
Caitlyn, Lunar Buff.
Lunar something Caitlyn.
I don't know, I'll just say Caitlyn.
Lunar Wraith Caitlyn, maybe?
I will say Battle Academia Caitlyn.
Blue Moon? Caitlyn? Blue Moon Caitlyn?
It's called Snow Moon.
Come on, man! Now you have to give me half of the points.
Lux I can see with the staff, but Jana makes no sense. Okay.
News reporter, yeah, no, I don't know. It's not even that one, but I'm just gonna give that the guess. What?
This one I'm really lost at. It's just a big guy. What is this? I mean, it's like kneeling or something. Like it looks like he's begging. Like who would beg? No one. Yeah, okay. Banger.
Braum or like I don't know. That has to be the shield.
No, it's the Braum skin. It's the dragon thing.
Snow Day, Braum.
I'll say Dragon Slayer Braum.
I'll just say Malachi. I don't know anything else.
Ilaoi? No, it's not Ilaoi. Let's say Ilaoi, whatever.
And the skin?
I don't know Ilaoi skins, man.
Same.
I think it's Mundo.
And the skin?
No clue.
It is...
Corporate.
Oh! Yeah, you got it.
Oh, lucky.
Corporate Mundo.
In French I do have it. It's Mundo Boursier.
This one is not obvious. Is it Corporate Mundo? Either Yasuo or Yi? Or Yon? Fuck.
Has to be... Oh, maybe it is Gangplank. I will flip Gangplank because I have no clue about other champs with a sword. And Spectral Gangplank. I will say that, but yeah, it has to be wrong.
That's Warden Jax.
It's like Sand Yasuo or something. Sand Yasuo. That will be the answer.
Yeah.
That is Yasuo, Project Yasuo.
Yasuo, Sea Dog.
This is Yasuo, and I have no idea of the skin.
I saw that in the scrim yesterday. It's Blood Moon Yasuo.
Blood Moon Yasuo. Or
This one I'm really not confident at. What is this abomination of a skin? What?
That's Rockets?
Oh, it seems like Rumble. Like the things on the left makes me think it is Rumble with his ultimate. But maybe it's not.
But it's like these pikes that stick out from like the circle. Like first I thought it was a fresh skin. And it could for sure be still.
Those are like clear missiles.
I'll just say Jinx, but it's not.
And the skin?
No, I know.
Isn't it Astral Grove Rumble?
I'll say Samsung White Fresh.
It's like Baron Corki.
I say Manati Corki.
That was UFO Corki.
UFO Corki?
The Second World War
I
Corki.
think you meant to say Red Baron Corki.
Yes,
right?
oh, exactly, Baron Corki.
Yeah. Yeah, it's UFO
Oh,
Corki.
okay, right, fuck Corki.
And for the final one, I just say good luck.
What?
I mean, this one's not possible.
It's Heimerdinger, maybe.
And the skin?
It's the yellow one.
What?
Let's say Astronaut, I don't know. Is it Heimer?
What is it? Twisted Fate?
And the skin?
Is it Twisted Fate?
Could be.
I'll say Twisted Fate.
It looks like Twisted Fate. Maybe Pax Twisted Fate. Yeah, I will flip that.
Tango Twisted Fate. No, Underworld. Let's take Underworld.
I'll just say Raka on Arcane Raka.
Wow. This is like, I don't know, this is like Warwick or something. I don't know, like, is it Warwick? That's all I'm gonna guess. I don't know, like maybe some Warwick skin curled up or something.
I don't know, I feel yours. I'll say Victorious Graves.
You actually got the correct champion. It's Praetorian Graves.
Damn.
But you get 1 point for that, which
Yeah.
is better than anyone else has gotten.
Yeah, I've...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NLC Division 2. We're here at the summer playoffs. A couple rounds into it now. We got an exciting best of 5 lined up for you today. It's going to be Lionscreed versus Lightside. I'm Takeoff, joined by Black Boxer over there on the other side of the pond. How's it going over there?
Super excited for this one. Just gotten back from holiday, already jumping straight back into some League of Legends, and we've got such a brilliant playoffs already. A ton of 3-0s. We then had a couple more back and forth series, so just can't wait to see how this one's going to conclude.
Yep, and on the note of 3-0, actually, Lionscreed are coming off of a 3-0 against K5 in a very impressive performance. You were telling me a little bit about that one. Can you tell everybody at home who didn't get to catch that match how that went down?
So basically, Panda and Emil are kind of insane as a mid-jungle duo. When they were moving themselves around the map, it was really impressive to see the rotations that they went through, getting a lot of kills onto Emil, who played Tristana and Lucian, so kind of abandoning out onto those mid laners and just roaming across the entire map. Really, really impressive performances out of both of them. And then we had something a little bit different down in the bottom lane. Spiky and Zuko deciding to play themselves some Kog'Maw Braum all 3 games. Now, it was really interesting to witness this happen because the first time around, they took the Braum early on and then the Kog'Maw kind of slipped into the later stages of the draft. And then for the next 2 games, they were picking up that Kog'Maw way earlier on, and K5 tried lots of things versus it. They tried Jinx and Thresh. They even tried a Bard and Seraphine combo. The only thing they didn't try was actually banning it out. But to be honest, that was because they had other problems. It was sort of problems all across the map for K5. Specifically, that mid-jungle duo were just popping off.
Yep, and on the note of mid-jungle duos, Painful and Emp on the side of Lightside had an interesting game against Blue Whites. It was an absolute banger from what I've heard, and it was on the knife's edge the entire time. Although, in the end, Lightside were able to advance, and now they're going to be facing Lionscreed. And I don't know if you have any predictions on your end how this match is going to go, or if you're just, like me, where it's hard to tell how Lionscreed and Lightside are going to be able to perform today.
Lionscreed, they're coming off of a lot of momentum. They had a really decent end to the season. They played 10 games in the last 2 weeks, won 8 of them. They lost one very understandably to Venomcrest. They lost another one to Blue Whites, which was a bit of a surprise. Blue Whites then took Lightside to a pretty big series all the way to 5 games in the playoffs, so clearly Blue Whites were turning it up. Not the end of the world that they lost out a matchup there. Then just 3-0'd K5, who were one of those top teams coming into the playoffs. So they've got a lot of momentum at their backs. Lightside losing 3-0 to Munster and then having to go all the way to 5 games versus Blue Whites. And these were not easy 5 games. There were a couple times where Blue Whites were quite far ahead and Lightside had to fight their way back. There's a lot less momentum here. I would have to predict Lionscreed, but I think this one's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got to agree with you. It does seem like momentum is on Lionscreed side. As you said, they just came off of a sweep from Carolina. And that was after they weren't able to pick up any games against them in the regular season, just completely flipping the script of what we all expected. And now we're going to be able to find out who's going to face Monster. Will it be the Lightside rematch, or will it be Lionscreed facing them off for the first time here in the playoffs? Venomcrest waiting for everybody in the finals. They have had quite a road there. I think they 3-0'd both their series, haven't dropped anything yet.
Yep. Yeah, so far they have not lost a single game in the entire split. They've got the longest standing win streak, basically, of anybody in any of the top 2 divisions we've got in the European ecosystem. They're just completely rolling at this point. If they even drop a single game, it's going to be a shock. At that point, you get to basically hoist your own little trophy that says, "We managed to beat Venomcrest." I don't think anybody's going to do it particularly. I know that Monster would love another shot to go against Venomcrest, even if they get 3-0'd last time. But Monster are that roadblock for either of these 2 teams. Lightside, they need another crack at it. The 3-0 that they lost to Monster was pretty convincing as well. They didn't really get any footholds in that game, just get beaten kind of across the board. Influentic in the mid lane had a really good time of it, and it just wasn't really working out. So both of these teams, if they can face against Monster, have a tough opponent, but you've got to get through this match today.
Yep, and this match today, speaking of, is going to be on 13-15. I think the entire playoffs has been on that patch, if I'm not mistaken. But I do want to talk about that patch in particular because a champion that we did see kind of come back out after the buffs was Aatrox. But now with that first Q being nerfed, do you think that's going to, push people away from picking that champion? Or do you think people who are still confident are going to go, okay, sure, we have that 1 Q buff, but everything else in him still seems fine?
Zewix can play it, does like it, but has a lot of other champions that are a little bit stronger at the moment. The Jack specifically has been looking really strong, so I could see that one just being moved to the side a little bit. These bans versus Lionscreed are also really interesting. We had the same sets of bans pretty much the entire way through that Lionscreed Carolyn Erna series. Always going to be taking away that Heimerdinger. He's super strong. We are going to see the Kog'Maw taken off the board though, so not going to get that one out of Spiky again. First pick onto the Maokai has been super strong recently. We've seen it being played by support by Dr. Chaos, so, can technically be moved around, but expecting that to be Panda and a high priority jungler is exactly what he wants.
Yep. And on the note of junglers, 2 potential junglers being picked up here as well as the Renekton. Rel is a very interesting pick. She can be Maokai as well. They can both be flexed in a lot of places, and it's looking like now Draven being hovered. I'm not sure if they're going to lock that one in, but that would be exciting.
It'll be a real departure from having played quite so much Kog'Maw Braum. He's still going to be the Braum pickup. Yeah, exactly. Just going to go towards this one. Zuko, this will be the 4th game in the row on Braum, and it will be the Braum Ashe. That's a super oppressive bot lane to play against. You can't really run away from it. And when paired up with a Maokai, that's a ton of just lockdown CC that you can play around. This team can now go forwards pretty effectively, or kite backwards off of the engage that you get out of a Rel and Renekton. So quite a nice early draft right here for Lionscreed. Lightside do need to pick themselves up a potential AD carry to go with the Rel. If you are going to take it support, obviously that could go into the jungle just as easily, and Nidget will pick himself up that Jinx.
Yep, Jinx. Lightside gonna try their hand at playing the Jinx into Zuko's Braum. We'll have to see how that goes. I do want to talk about, though, you were talking about the potential of Lionscreed's comp earlier. They do have a lot of pick potential with the Maokai, with the Ashe, and then the follow-up from the Braum is going to be nasty as well. So have to be careful of that one. Jax being banned away, as you said. Very strong pick for Zoic, and not going to be allowed this time.
Things are looking pretty normal right now in these bans, taking off a lot of the comfort from the light side, whereas Lionscreed seem to have a little bit more flexibility to just be able to ban away what is strong. At the moment, Milio will come off the board as well. Dr. Chaos has had an absolutely gigantic champion pool, has been playing a lot of really odd things as well in that support role. You know, has had a couple of games on the Lissandra, which, I mean, sure, if you want to. It didn't end up working out. That was in the 3-0 that they lost versus Munster, so, no. Trying things out, not necessarily finding success on it so far. Double top lane ban coming out from Lightside, so they do not want to give Zewix any more of his comfort. He does really like the Jax, does also like to play the Cassante occasionally, the Renekton too, so a lot of his main picks have been taken off of the board. You've got a great engage and disengage comp right here out of Lionscreed, whereas Lightside, they're going to want to front to back. They've got that Jinx. Once you get that first kill, get her excited, you're just going to want to go in. It's exactly what you can do with a Rel and Renekton. Yuumi has been decent on these recent patches, and it's just a lot of extra shielding you can put onto a Jinx. I'd prefer this though. This works more in style with the composition that wants to go in and engage support. Something for Dr. Chaos to truly cause some chaos with, to get into the backline and help out with the rest of his team.
I see what you did there, but yeah, the Rakan would be big. Oh, I was gonna say the Rakan-Rel combo would have been so good, but Soraka, not a bad pick either. Want to keep your teammates healthy, especially that Jinx. You mentioned the excitement earlier. You want to make sure she stays alive during those big moments where she's going in those team fights, getting the resets on that passive. Now, Lionscreed, their last 2 picks here are going to be interesting to see. Ornn being hovered here. They do need some, I guess, some more solid engage if they want it, but...
Oh, go on, Lionscreed.
Oh, they did. Yeah, so a huge engage comp.
Lightside, not allowed to move. They're just not allowed to move at this point in the game. Once we get to these team fights, it is donezoed, and Lionscreed are so good at rotating around the map early on with that mid-jungle duo that once you get into the big team fights, they've often got themselves a little bit of a lead. Emil will finally take a mid laner rather than the only remaining pick that he's had from previous series, which was the Lucian. Didn't really need any more AD damage. This is a brilliant, very standard composition. You've got tanks in the top lane, tanks in the jungle, a little bit of a tank in the support as well, and 2 carries to really play around. Final pick right here for Lightside. Their composition kind of wants to go in, has the Soraka sort of back it up, needs some extra AP damage. Victor certainly would provide that, and that is going to be locked in. Victor Syndra, pretty standard matchup, not really using this counter pick particularly well on Lightside, but they were able to scope out the full Lionscreed composition and see that the Victor, whilst he does have a lot to try to jump onto him in terms of the overall team fight, there's no specific assassin to make the Victor's life hell. He can sit in the backline and lay down that damage.
Yeah, but I mean, the long distance, and I really do mean long distance when I'm talking about Lionscreed comp. I mean, the Ashe global ultimate, the Ornn, and the Maokai ultimates can get you from so far away. And the Syndra, if she's creative, that Scatter the Weak can really throw you off. They have a lot of playmaking potential from very long distances, but Lightside, they have the area control, they have the Rel, they have the Victor. It's a difficult comp to play against, but we'll see if Lionscreed can pull it off.
We'll have to see if they're able to just move away as Lightside from this composition, because I'm telling you, those concussive blows are going to really hurt The whole composition has just so much ability to make sure you do not move. If you get caught out right here as, say, I don't know, a Jinx, you don't get to move, and I'm pretty certain that this is going to have to be a cleanse pickup right here for Nitchits to just try to get away, but there's a ton of knockups too that you can't cleanse away from. If you get caught out by a single piece of CC, you just die. It doesn't matter if you're the big tanky Rel or Renekton, you will still just die because you don't get to move for 5, maybe even 6 seconds, which in a team fight is just terrible. But once those big ultimates are blown out of Lionscreed, they do lose out on a lot of that priority. So for Lightside, it's going to be a really tricky game. We're trying to bait out as many ultimates as possible, drop back, re-heal yourself, and then try to find those engages. That, or find a pick onto somebody. Rel, Renekton, they can go in very easily, get that first reset, and then try turn it into a team fight. The composition out of Lionscreed is just easier to execute.
Yeah, it definitely is easier to execute. It's a very difficult comp to play against. Like you were talking about the Jinx earlier, she gets caught, has to take cleanse or else she's gonna die. And that does seem like a very big problem with Lightside's comp. It does not quite all of the eggs in one basket. You do have the Renekton and the Victor in case the Jinx does go down. But Jinx is probably going to be doing a majority of the damage in these team fights.
Just gonna have to find the initial reset or just lay down as much pain with those rockets as possible and chip away at people. You've got such good late game scaling, you just have to find a way to get there.
Yep, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First game of 5, potentially, between Lightside and Lionscreed. Going to be hitting on to the Rift. Ocean Dragon, as we can see, is going to be the first one, which isn't entirely exciting, but Ocean first, I think, is a bit underrated. It's nice to have that health regen in lane.
It definitely will be. We'll have to see which of these junglers is going to decide to move towards that one. Interesting to see as well where these junglers are going to decide to start. The bot lane could well be pretty explosive. Spiky and Zuko even have a lot of CC that they can lay down in the bottom lane. Pre-6 with the Braum, post-6 with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. Mid lane doesn't necessarily need babysitting. We've seen a million different Syndra versus Victor matchups. You can get solo kills in this matchup. You often see people dropping very low but not quite dying. The level 1 is brilliant out of Lionscreed, but game 1 of a best of 5, you don't tend to see teams get too aggressive. Top lane as well, not necessarily going to be a place where junglers really want to focus. So Panda and EMP, I could see them starting towards the top side of the map and making their way down.
Yep, probably going to be looking to influence that bot lane early, especially with such a volatile laner as Jinx. If she can get a lot of kills early on, can become quite a problem as the game continues. And going to be starting Raptors, then going up to red probably. Meanwhile, Panda going to be getting help on this blue buff. And as you said, the mid lane isn't entirely exciting. It's mostly just poke and farm. But solo kill potential is there. Bot lane is definitely going to be the lane to keep an eye on. Orin probably not going to be looking for fights up top either. So if there are any plays to be made in the early game, this is the lane where you want to make plays.
Absolutely. The potential for these lanes to try to get aggressive in and of themselves is not the highest. We've seen plenty of more interesting individual lane matchups. It's really going to be about the rotation. We've spoken before about it, but this is really a time to look into it. Panda and Emil, when they work together, when they rotate around the map, are incredibly impressive as a mid-jungle duo. EMP and Painful, when they can get it working, they look brilliant, but the issue has been for Lightside that this mid-jungle duo just hasn't been working out in the same way. On Victor, you're not necessarily looking to roam too much. Once you have level 6, you're in a pretty good position to be able to try to get into these side lane roams and just lay down as much damage as you can from afar and allow EMP to sort of set it up for you with all of the CC that Rel does give you. But it's just not been as consistent for Lightside as it has been for Lionscreed. Panda and Emil have been all over the map rotating, specifically into the bot lane, looking for dives quite often, and it can be pretty tricky to dive onto a Soraka lane if you can't get onto the Soraka, but she is very vulnerable, and with the amount of CC that Lionscreed have available to them, that's definitely an avenue they could be looking towards to get into this game.
Now, on this blue buff, might be looking around mid lane. Does spot out the Maokai though. Might not go that direction anymore, but a bit of an advantage for Panda. Is already starting his buff with only one camp to go. And just starting his, but look at this in mid lane. It's talking about the poke. Painful seems to be doing well in that aspect, but now has a minion wave in his face. Can't continue that one anymore. Bot lane, not too eventful either. Just farming all across the map, but now they are setting up vision. Panda walking that direction. We could see a gank soon.
Yeah, potential for that one. The spot lane Scuttle Crab is going to be the one fought over. So low on Painful, and this is what the Syndra can do. Got changed quite a while ago at this point, 6-7 months, just to increase her range overall, and it means that in lane she is such a bully at this point. The Scatter the Weak specifically comes in from just a mile away. EMP in the area, not going to be able to get onto a mill, and just gets to bully out Painful, who has to now accept a minion wave, recall back onto turret. The minion wave is in a reset position though, so neither of these two are going to have to blow their teleports you don't expect. Painful, yeah, just going to be a little bit later back to lane. Not going to miss out on anything at all. And this game continues to be pretty calm during the early stages of the game. CS leads are pretty much non-existent at this point. A tiny bit of one going on in the top lane and in the bot lane for Lightside, but nothing too much as... Oh, that's not ideal.
I was just about to say, Nurtured's standing in a very awkward spot, and he's just kind of standing still. I think something might have happened, and yeah, the disconnect does come through. So we'll just have to wait for the pause to come back. Probably having some connection issues on his end, but I do want to talk about something. The match has been calm so far. You gotta wonder which side. I mean, obviously, there's really not much to wonder, but you gotta think who the scaling does favor. It does seem like Lionscreed with that Ornn. They do want this game to go longer, to get those ornaments on their carries and then really pop off in those later team fights.
Absolutely. The thing for Lionscreed is that all of their members are just fine in the later stages of the game, and then you have got your ornaments coming through just to make everybody that bit stronger. Whereas Lightside, Victor, Jinx love to go late game. They are late game hyper carries to the extreme. However, you've got yourself a Rel and a Renekton. These champions do fall off just a little bit into the later stages of the game. Obviously, Renekton's still going to give you plenty of CC, Rel exactly the same thing, but they're not at their absolute peak. Real peak for a Rel in the jungle is going to be that mid game where she's pretty tanky but still can deal enough damage just to keep people honest and allow the carries to get on top. But yeah, scaling.
Look at this. Dr. Chaos might be in trouble because a blow comes through and slashes away the will be enough. First blood goes over to Speed. Now they're chasing Nijip, and I think he's too healthy and too close to his tower, but still, first blood goes over to the Lionscreed bot side.
And that's the concussive blow. Zuko flashing forwards to be able to get that Winter's Bite, managing to pick up that kill. And that's what I was saying. You cannot go onto the Jinx in this matchup. You have to get onto that Soraka. That's both the flash and the heal blown as well. And it just wasn't enough. That's without any of the rest of the CC from this team. That's simply from this bot lane duo. This is what you get from the Ashe and the Braum. You see it as a duo quite often because you can't run away from it. The slows that you're getting off of that Ashe passive mean that you can't just walk away, and then you're getting stunned up as well by the Braum. Makes escaping so very tricky, and an immediate kill into the pocket of this Ashe is everything. You want to get to that item breakpoint first because you don't scale quite as well as an Ashe when compared to a Jinx, so if you can get to your item breakpoints first, you're going to be that much more effective.
Ultimate's being used topside. Here we see the triple. Nice stun by Bucci. The Ornn has to flash away to save his life now in the mid lane. Might see the Soraka fall down again, and she does. Painful now trying to run away before the concussive blows come through. But look at this Imp trying to turn the fight. Has to flash away though, not feeling too confident in being able to finish off a meal. But now I'm a bit worried that this could turn into a dive. But Lionscreed are gonna back off, but still 2-0 now to start this game.
And my man just flashing in, managing to turn that fight around. It looked like an initial good play for Lightside. Lionscreed, though, have the map rotation, and that's what they've really been bringing to these team fights. Every single game, they manage to rotate more members to these fights. It turns into a 3v2. Managing to kick themselves those kills. It's exactly what you want to see for Lionscreed. So far, this game going very well, and it was a little bit risky for Zewix up in the top lane, just about flashing away from Bucci. Doesn't get taken down with that cull. And I managed to survive just for another day. At this point, 2-0 for Lionscreed. They're only up by about 1,000 gold. We are pretty early into the game, though. Multiple members towards the bot side of the map. We do have that Ocean Drake, like you said. Have to see if Lionscreed decide to go for this one. EMP is towards the top side of the map. Wouldn't be able to respond.
We do have the priority for it. We'll just have to see if they want to go on the dragon. It does seem like Panda's interested, and he does walk in. Nice control ward there. Was able to clear out a ward earlier though, so they know the control ward's there. But still, lots of valuable information for Lightside, and now Lionscreed gonna start up this dragon, as you said. Emp still on the top side. He's gonna trade the red buff for it, but still, some nice health regeneration into Lionscreed's pocket, and with the way that their lanes have been going so far, this could be problematic. Oh, wait a minute.
Arrow
Ash
hits.
Arrow hits the spot. Panda trying to follow up. Will they be able to find the snare? They will not. Good job by Nidget to tank it. And that was scary, but luckily Lightside able to get away.
Nice hit onto the arrow, and that's the beginnings of the scary long-range engage that Lionscreed have. Plenty of long-range engage simply off of the ultimates from Panda and Zoox, but then you add that enchanted crystal arrow that can snipe you from anywhere on the map, and things truly do get terrifying. Still, Dr. Chaos gonna be able to get away with his life, not the end of the world right now. And whilst it's been a pretty impressive early game for Lionscreed, they're not in a position to really run away with this game. Straight onto this Herald goes EMP. There's Panda on the way in, still quite far away. Top laners chunking themselves out. Zoox not in a particularly healthy position to go help out his jungler if Panda does decide to try to take on EMP for this Herald.
Yeah, I don't know if they spotted EMP. Did go to clear that ward first, but still nonetheless, no contest there. EMP just gonna take the Herald and recall, and we'll have to see where he takes that, but Emil for now crashing in this mid wave. Gonna be interesting to see if they want to try and get some damage under the tower. Unable to land that W though, but now junglers starting to make their way. Well, actually, going back towards the top side with this Herald might look to get some gold into the Renekton's pocket with that.
Gonna be able to push quite a big wave underneath the tower. Zuko is here. Not really any objectives to play for, just looking to make sure his mid laner can push in this wave uncontested, pick up as much of this turret plating as well, and then get a nice big recall off. Emil going to be very happy with the way that this early game has gone. 2 turret plates plus just a little bit of a CS lead too is exactly what you want as this Syndra. You're looking for small advantages in this matchup versus Victor, not necessarily looking for solo kills. Things can be pretty back and forth, but just constantly chunking out Painful, making sure that he's blowing all of his mana in Emble to just try to keep himself alive. Even going to have to blow the ultimate to be able to clear up that wave and go back to base. Emil having a very good time with it.
And, you know, grouping around this bottom side could look to maybe find Lightside once again. I'm not sure if they know he's there, but in this top side, having another fight. It's surprising to see how often Zoox is fighting the Renekton, considering how the matchup usually goes this early.
Oftentimes early on, you can see Orns just pick themselves up solo kills, but Renekton, he's one of those strong early game champions that really needs to find yourself an advantage, because he hasn't managed to do so particularly. Oh, arrow.
Oh, another crystal arrow hitting the spot.
Oh,
no
boy.
claims to save you this time. Spike picking up the kill there. And Emp was looking for the counter gank, but it's just, I mean, the Jinx just died so quickly.
And yeah, that's exactly what happens when even though there's a cleanse on Nidget, had to use it previously to try to survive, and then you end up with an enchanted crystal arrow straight to the face, and then whatever other levels of CC you've got around, because every single champ on the board for Lionscreed right now has CC to lay down to make sure that you just don't get to move. And it's not the long-range snipes that we're going to be seeing from Lionscreed. It's that short to medium range where you're within range of the rest of your team to follow up to just lock down CC. And that's super effective to either get you an initial pick, or, I think Zoox is fine, or to get it onto somebody in a big team fight and lock down the entire team in that way.
Yep, and Zoox is gonna have to take another recall. Does have teleport. Nidget does have the cleanse up. I always hate when that happens, when you could have cleansed to live, but it comes up right as you die.
Yeah.
It is always the worst
Feels
feeling in
bad.
the world. Yeah. But already this Ashe did pick up the Kraken Slayer, so it's gonna have a really big damage power spike coming back in the lane if they want to look for some more fights. Okay, just pushing this out. Teleport coming in. Herald being
Herald.
charged as well.
Oh,
See how this turns
Nidget.
out, but I mean, I don't know what happened, but Nidget is just dead. Emil with the fantastic teleport to help as well. I do believe, no, actually, Crystal Arrow wasn't even used, just to kill without it.
Didn't even need it. You got the teleport top lane for Zoox to try to keep that turret alive, manages to do so. And then on the bot side for Lionscreed, just getting on top of Nidget, nice and easily. You didn't need to use the Enchanted Crystal Arrow because you have the Scatter the Weak off of Emil. Did have to flash forwards in order to find that kill in the end. So, you know, you have blown flashes off of a couple of your main carries. Still going to be perfectly happy with putting this Jinx in the ground once again. Not been having a good time of it so far. Does have the Kraken Slayer completed now, does Nidget, and I've seen him pop off multiple times. In that Blue-White series specifically, he had some brilliant performances. Really is just being focused out right now. and has no real way to play back into this game. I had a little question in my head, you know, can Spiky and Zuko play things other than the Kothmore Braum? That's all they played last time we saw them. Clearly, they just didn't need to pull out anything different. Now they've been asked to expand their champion pool, going well. Zuko, bit of trouble.
Yeah, he might be caught here. Lots of damage coming through, but the crystal
Nature's
arrow
Cross.
hits the spot. Huge Nature's Cross from Panda, who picks up one kill, and then Spike picking up the other. Now they just need to clean this up. Ninja trying to kite backwards. Actually, could find something here, but double kill now for Panda.
Boy.
And then a kill for the Syndra on the side, wiping the map. Only Bucci in the top side is alive, and they get this dragon uncontested.
Gonna be a quick, easy Baron right here, and that was off of Lightside aggression. Thought that they had Zuko on a break. He was way too far up, is what they thought. Absolutely not. Managed to jump back to safety to get to Spiky, and then you just kite back, kite back, kite back. That's exactly what you want as a Ashe and a Braum. These champions are brilliant at just walking backwards, and it was enough to buy time for Panda to get down there. Nature's Grasp onto multiple members, keeps them honest, makes sure that Lightside have to freeze for just a second, and it's more than enough time for Spiky and Zuko to manage to get that initial kill, and then turn it back. Go on the aggressive this time around. Zewix even roams his way down, sure loses a turret for it, but that's 4 kills and a Drake. I'm taking that over a tier 1 every day of the week.
Yep, and 15 minutes now. Lights have gone away. Bucci does have a lot of gold thanks to that little push he got while that was going on, but as you said, I mean, the Dragon and the big team fight, absolutely worth it for Lionscreed now. Probably going to be rotating, or maybe not. I was going to say maybe going to be rotating their ADC to the mid lane soon, but it does seem like they want him to stay pot to collect that farm. And lots of pings coming through from the side of Lightside. We'll have to see what they have cooking. They want to make something happen in this river, wanting to get vision control. But there's not a whole lot of opportunity. I mean, Spike playing very far back here, doesn't want to walk into any blind areas, and there's just too many people mid to make anything happen there.
It really is. Despite the fact, though, that we are 8 kills to 0 right now for Lionscreed, the goal difference is only about 2,000. It is 2 Drakes as well to Lionscreed. They're certainly in control of this game, but it's not quite as far as you'd think. Emil needs to be careful here.
Yeah, this could be a very big hit coming through. Nice flash from Bucci, but Scatter the Wheat is gonna keep Emil safe for now. Ultimate used by Bucci, so he will not have that coming back up. Maybe Panda looking like he wants to do something here, but no engage angle quite yet.
Thing gonna happen right here, and Lightside, they're looking for desperation plays at this point. See if Panda can do it better.
Yeah, Panda.
Oh, the arrow!
Ash arrow! I didn't even see that coming! Hits from all the way from the bottom side of the map. Emil picks up the kill there. That was insane! I mean, Spike is an absolute sharpshooter today.
Yep, he's got his sharpshooter goggles locked on. You can see it gonna result in a turret as well as the kill. And you can just keep pushing in the bot lane as well. Keeping yourself in this game, exactly what you want to do on this Ashe. And it feels like Lionscreed right now have just come into this game with more momentum, warmed up better, and they're just feeling themselves. Digit needs to be careful.
Yeah, might be got here. There's just so many people just collapsing onto the Jinx. Emil picking up another kill. I mean, yeah, the confidence from Lionscreed. You can see it in their gameplay. They're going around the maps. They're not afraid for these extremely long distance engages from these crystal arrows. And they just know every time Spike's gonna hit those.
Come team fights, Lionscreed are going to be in the advantage. They've managed to pick themselves up all of those first items on the way to those second items as well, whereas it's just first items for Lightside. They're quite far behind at this point in the game, and team fights are just going to get worse because Lightside, they're looking to really try to pick onto 1, maybe 2 members at maximum, whereas Lionscreed have the ability to lock down everybody. Sure, their then damage is single target. You know, you're really looking to blow somebody up with that unleashed power. Ashe really more of a single target AD carry than anything else. Emil, hang on.
Oh, might be going in here. Emil trying to find an outplay. Does have Panda here to back them up. Oh, they are now stuck under this turret. Sirocco comes through, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They find 1 kill. Now M stuck in the middle of 4 members. Flashes over the wall, but the Concussible comes through. And the crystal arrow to prevent any kind of escape. M is dead. Well, not yet. Now he's dead. Panda picking up that one. Now they're going mid lane. Want to get a push there. I mean, Lionscreed are just playing so well.
You just don't have the damage right there as the Renekton Rel. You have to use that combo really early on when the Renekton is still strong in the game. At this point, he's just not. Nidgit flashes away, is going to survive. They're going to lose the turret out for this one. And things just getting worse and worse and worse right here for Lightside. For a game 1 in a best of 5, this is terrible. Lionscreed going to have so much momentum. They already had it coming into the series. Now this game 1, you're going to have to go right back to the drawing board for Lightside to change up pretty much everything. And maybe, just maybe, give Lionscreed a little bit less CC, because at this point, moving might be helpful.
Yeah, the amount of CC that Lionscreed has is ridiculous. But I mean, it's hard to draft around that with the way that they play. They, like we were talking about before the map, they like to make those early roams. We're seeing it this game. We're seeing it even as we're approaching the mid game. They like to group together and find these plays where they're able to get 2 on 4, 2 on 5, something like that. And they're just running away with this lead now, 12-0 in kills, 30 or about 35k, so about 30k. So not the biggest gold lead in the world, but still a very confident grasp in this game.
Absolutely, and you're beginning to crack those turrets. That's the only thing really that Lionscreed hadn't managed to do during the early stages of the game. Plenty of little turret plates here and there, but nothing really beyond that, whereas the top lane turret had fallen for Lightside. Now at this point, you're losing out on those outer turrets. Your inner turrets are beginning to get chipped out away as well. And Lionscreed still have only conceded that top lane outer turret. Everything else is pretty much full health, and that means that the map is slowly getting squeezed down for Lightside. You saw they could not engage onto that Drake at all. Now they're down to soul point already. It's going to be 24, all arrow. Yep.
Look at this. Yeah, another pick for Lionscreed. Yep. I mean, that's just what their comp is so good at, and they're doing it again. Killing off the jungler. Now, maybe Baron might be on the table. It is 5v4, but no jungler on the side of Lightside. Might be less than that, though. Bucci and Painful in a bit of a dangerous spot for backing off. They're trying to secure this red buff, but Lionscreed are trying to find a way to prevent that from happening.
Yep.
And they're going in, but I think now this red buff should just be secured for them.
Can't step into your own jungle at this point. It isn't Lightside's jungle. Lionscreed own the entire map. Bucci needs to be getting out of this one. Don't think he can.
Nah, I don't think he can, Bucci. Well, maybe. No, yeah, there's just no way. Yeah, nope. I mean, the damage is just so much from the Ashe already. Only 20 minutes into this game, and the Ashe is online, has the Trinity Force, has the Kraken Slayer. Also, 10 stacks now for the Syndra on her Dark Seal. Maokai has 6. I mean, the fact that the Maokai picked up the Dark Seal, the confidence is so high on Lionscreed.
Really showing off just how much everybody on Lionscreed is feeling themselves. They know that they're coming into this game with the momentum, and they are truly showing it. Lightside not going to be able to step up to try to contest this Baron. Instead, they're getting engaged on.
Yeah, they're just going to go in. Ashe Arrow all the way from Baron Pit.
Oh, hang on.
Hit M. But wait a minute. Dr. Chaos and Nidgit doing a lot of damage here. Not able to find any kills. But now, the teleport coming through. Yep, there he goes, Bucci.
Oh, Emil!
Find it in here, but oh god, Emil on the side finds the kill on the Seraphim, and now Lightside can't even consider trying to follow up.
It looked a little iffy for a second there for Lionscreed. You know, they'd gone pretty split. You had your big damage dealers going on to the Baron, picking it up. But really, Lionscreed were just playing Gatekeeper, making sure Lightside couldn't contest onto that Baron, even picking themselves up a kill on the back end. Emil just doing so much damage on that Unleashed Power. Nothing really that Lightside could do. They had full unrestricted access to multiple members without carries around to try to deal damage, and they were able to tickle. You know, it did hurt a little bit for Lionscreed, but nowhere near enough. The Chaos Storm, though, was beginning to come online. You could see, with that Leandri's completed, the burn damage over time was ramping up. It was beginning to hurt. But you're going to need another 20 minutes at least for Lightside to really get back on the level, the point at which gold no longer matters. I don't think Lightside are going to have that long. Need to find a way back into this game, get a pick onto somebody, because currently they've managed to pick themselves up. What's that? No kills in this game.
I mean, it is almost a flawless victory so far for Lionscreed. Only lost that top tier 1, have not dropped anything else. All 3 dragons have gone to them. All the kills have gone to them. And it's just so hard for Lightside to play the game at this point. I mean, they're so far behind, and all of the conditions that Lionscreed wanted. They wanted the Ashe to get ahead. They wanted the Ornn to have an opportunity to just play the lane as he wants, and all of that happened. And now they're sieging onto the base. Mid lane inhibitor turret goes down. Lionscreed trying to find a way to get this inhib, and we get a pause. So exciting moment, but we will have to wait. But I mean, yeah, I think we're pretty much seeing the end of the game here.
Should be the final push right here. Gonna try to make their way into the base. Got most of that Baron buff left available, half of it still to go, can push forward. Got a split as well where you're getting pulled around as Lightside. Can you defend the mid lane? Can you defend the bot side? I mean, Ninja has managed to pick himself up that eye edge. Gonna be dealing quite a lot of damage at this point, but it just doesn't feel like enough. Not when you can't really move at any point. That Nature's Grass specifically has been insane. Panda placing it at just the perfect positions all of the time. And nobody, it feels like nobody on Lionscreed has been having a bad game right here. The only person who's been having a little bit of a quiet game is Uix, and that's absolutely fine on an Ornn. When the rest of the map is playing as well as they have been, you don't really need to do anything else. We'll see if there can be a base defense out of Lightside. Gonna lose an inhibitor, at least. Now gonna be looking towards this bottom side to siege.
Now, Lightside in an interesting spot. If they want to find a way to turn the game, it has to be soon. It has to be now. Bucci on the side trying to get damage on the Zerix, who just doesn't care. I mean, the Ornn already, level 14, has his own ornament, so tanky at this point in the game. Like, Lionscreed still trying to push in here. Nice scatter of the week to get some poke on the M. Zuko, not in the worst spot, does have the W if he wants to jump past, but now Nature's Grass going forward, trying to find some picks, and an Ornhorn from the side. They find two people, and both of them go down. Druckle to try to keep him alive, but he should be going down any moment now. And Bucci in the middle, trying to find something nice. Scoredringer, but it's just not enough. Lionscreed are just taking not that much damage, honestly. Zuik's the only one brought anywhere close to low, as Panda just goes right in, trying to find the Q to knock him back. Had to walk a little bit to do so, but they find another kill on the Painful. Zoix teleports back, and just like that, if they didn't lose the top tier 1, would have been perfect, but still, an absolutely incredible game from Lionscreed.
Lionscreed coming into today with 0 deaths. After the first game, they still have 0 deaths as an entire team. What domination did we just witness? Brilliant performance out of every single member of Lionscreed. Honestly, MVP to Bucci for being able to pick up that top lane turret and stop it from being a perfect game. To be fair, there was also that Herald that was picked up for Lightside, so it wasn't a complete wash of a game. But other than that, domination across the board, and we saw it from every single lane. There was tons of roaming around out of Panda, exactly as we expected, but in the individual 2v2 matchup, it was just better out of Spiky and Zuko. They were able to play that matchup so very well. And the draft, honestly, the draft was the real MVP of that entire game because there was no chance for Lightside to move. Once you got hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, or even just the initial auto attack out of the Ashe, at that point, you didn't get to go anywhere, and it meant they were able to get that first initial pick and then have a numbers advantage and just turn that into one team fight after one team fight and into the win in this first game.
Yeah, I mean, team fight after team fight, it's just the momentum. We keep saying it, but it's just so true. It's carried from their last game, and it's carried through now. Everybody's looking good. Nobody looked bad in that game. The confidence was high. We saw a fully stacked Dark Seal on a Maokai. I thought I'd never see that in my life, but still, nonetheless, we have, well, potentially 4 more games to go, but it might seem like we'll only see 2 of them. We'll have to see, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back for game 2 in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have more games for you lined up. Lightside didn't have too great of a game last time. They're going back to the drawing board, but sometimes that's just what you need to get that momentum back up. I mean, we saw it SKT versus KT. It looked like it was just going to be a 3-0, but then they turned the script, so you never know. A comeback is possible.
Definitely is a possibility. Lightside, they have a lot to work on off of that game. You know, there are a couple of moments where they might be able to find some fights. Mid lane, you know, they had a lot of damage laid down onto those Lionscreed members. They just didn't quite manage to pick up those kills. A real game of moments where if things had been a little bit different, perhaps they could have at least fought back. Whereas the way that things actually played out, Lionscreed, they just rolled. Didn't end up taking a single death. Lightside, you know, looking to pick up their first kill of the series still. We'll have to see who's able to get that one for themselves. And the draft was really interesting because it was a terrifying draft out of Lionscreed, don't get me wrong. Constantly lockdown CC, as soon as you manage to hit those enchanted crystal arrows, it's terrifying. But at the same time, you are relying very heavily on that aim being perfect out of Spiky. If he doesn't hit those enchanted crystal arrows, that game goes entirely different. So a lot of confidence for Lionscreed. Lightside, they had a lot of winning lanes, just the individual execution wasn't quite there, and it meant by the time they got to those team fights, things had already fallen apart and they didn't really have the gold to be able to fight back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if they'll fight back this time. As I said, sometimes you really just do need to get smacked around like that to, you know, pull up your bootstraps, come back and really fight back, smack them back. So we'll see if Lightside are going to get a retaliation game this time around, or if we're going to be on the border of a 3-0. As we're just waiting for draft to start up. But I do want to talk to you, Bloxer. On the note of the draft, do you think that what direction do you think Lightside need to go to have different results this game as opposed to last game?
It's genuinely really tricky as Lightside to play against this Lionscreed composition because of the draft and because specifically of the bans that you just have to do. You have to ban away the Heimerdinger. You can't not. If you don't, you will lose to it. It's just one of Spiky's best champions. Whenever he gets it, he pops off. Then do you leave the Tristana open and available? The answer is most likely no, because you know that Emil is just going to be able to pop off onto it. And then what are you really left with? What, one ban that you can sort of spread around the rest of the map? At the same time, you know, kind of want to take off the board of the Rumble, the LeBlanc constantly being banned out as well versus them. There's 3-4 bans that you kind of have to do against Lionscreed, and it means you're leaving everything else open, and they're not necessarily the main meta bans. You're not trying to get rid of the best things in the meta, it's just the things that Lionscreed are best on. Makes drafting against this team really tricky. So Lightside, what do they do? Because they banned out the Cogmore last time around because we saw Lionscreed pick it 3 times. Do you maybe let that one through? Clearly, you know, it wasn't the main issue that was identified when Lionscreed were playing up against Carol and Erna. Carol and Erna saw other things that were more of an issue, otherwise they would have banned out onto that Brom and that Cogmore duo. Maybe get rid of the Brom, you know, that is the consistent thing that has been played 4 times in a row now. Does Zuko get to play it a 5th time? He's clearly really, really good on it.
Yeah, I was going to actually suggest that, yeah, maybe forcing Zuko onto a pick that he's not as comfortable on, you know, playing the same champion over and over, sometimes you get a little bit too comfortable. You get thrown on something else and you blunder a few times. So we'll have to see if that's the direction they want to go. Zaya ban to start it off. And as you were talking about, no way that Heimerdinger is going to be allowed in the draft. That gets immediately banned out.
Indeed, it just... You can't play against it, and if you lose to it, you go, yeah, well, we should have banned it. So just going to be taking that one off of the board. Zaya Jace going to be removed. Lionscreed not looking to play against those ones. The Tristana 2 gets taken out, so Lionside do feel forced into having to ban out that same set of champions once again. Kazante, not something that I can see Bucci being allowed to pick up. He had a brilliant performance on it versus Blue Whites. And the Brom, there we go. We highlighted just how strong it has been right here for Zuko. That was 4 games in a row. Not going to be allowed that 5th game. Lightside are making them change something up. Lionscreed just going to go for that first pick of the Maokai once again. It's super strong, so what does Lightside do in retaliation? Do they try to play the same composition, or do they want to move things around? Winning lanes didn't work out for them last time. What are they going to change?
We'll have to see if they're going to go run back. The Rel is open, and there it goes. Probably going to be locked in here. Rel wasn't the biggest problem for them last time, so I'm not surprised to see that champion picked up yet again, but the rest of the draft, I think, should and will look different on the side of Lightside.
Yeah, they had a lot of early lockdown that they could have been trying to play around. They just didn't manage to do so. pick the Ashe away, ban out the Braum, pick the Ashe away, so make sure that Spiky and Zuko have to change things up, are going to be able to see what they can do with this Ashe, because you now have a ton of lockdown CC of your own. Also, Nidgid, how are you feeling with those snipes? Are you going to be just as good as Spiky? Have to wait and see. Lionscreed, now they've had a couple of things taken away from them, what is going to change right here? Do you once again want to pick yourself up something for Spiky and Zuko? Gonna hover down onto this Varus. It's relatively similar to an Ashe. A lot of poke, some lockdown CC with that ultimate as well. I like it.
Yep. And then the Nautilus as well. A bit vulnerable in that lane. Not a whole lot of escape potential for the Varus if they do lock in that Nautilus. So the Rel does have some playmaking potential down there. But yeah, as you said, Varus, outside of the fact that his ultimate isn't global, does play kind of similarly to the Ashe. And we're going to see the Renekton being played again.
And Bucci didn't manage to find any early aggression onto that one. I'd be really fascinated to see if Lightside decide to take away the Ornn right here, because Ornn is one of those champions that can go toe-to-toe with the Renekton. Nearly ended up with a solo kill, did Bucci into Zewix, but didn't quite manage to get that final ultimate off. Sorry, that final Q off, so wasn't able to pick up that solo kill, didn't manage to get the ball rolling. To ban out the Ornn, a lot of other matchups for the Renekton are quite a lot better. Lightside once again on the red, so do have that counter pick. Last time used it for Painful to pick up the Victor into Syndra matchup. Not the craziest of counter picks. Really interesting to see that they're picking for Bucci so early on, when top lane is so often the counter pick lane. That's where you save your counter pick for. On red side, completely different right here for Lightside. Seem to be saving it for Painful once again, or possibly EMP.
Ornn and away this time, so won't be seeing that top lane matchup run back, but I'm actually very interested to see what Zewix is going to go with in the top lane. Jace banned away, K'Sante banned away, you know, 2 top laners on the side of Lightside. Champion pool is kind of limited in this scenario. Ode here would be interesting, but I'm pretty sure that's just a hover.
I've not been seeing too much of that recently. Graves is something we've been seeing. EMP really does like that one. It doesn't give you that CC, but you just have a ton of damage in the early stages of the game. You clear your camps pretty fast as well, so we're going to have to watch EMP. What can he get done? It has to be more than we saw last time, and that does mean it is going to be a Rel Ashe into the bot lane, unless things are completely crazy and Lightside decide to pull the rug out from under us.
Lionscreed locking it. Oh, mouth fight would actually be a very good pick. That's a huge engage potential. And once again, Lionscreed, that seems to be what they're going with, is the engage from long distances. Not as long as last time, but still, you have the Nautilus, you have the Maokai, and now the Malphite, and the Varus there to keep everybody locked down once you got the engage followed through. I mean, once again, Lightside have to play into a very difficult comp.
Yeah, that unstoppable force is just completely insane if you're able to land it on multiple members. Ashe doesn't have really any way to get away. Sure, you have a little bit of a dash on the Graves, but it's not particularly long range. That LeBlanc was left through. It's something that's banned out against Lionscreed all of the time. Zuko gonna pick that one up, so what is the response? Lightside have to know that they've left that one open when nobody else really wants to. Does Painful have a particular counter into it? Yeah, it's not that.
No
that
way.
is not the counter that you want to pick.
No way.
The Kai'Sa has been a counter.
Oh,
Nico too. Okay.
Nico. Yeah, I mean, Nico always flies under the radar for me. I always forget that champion exists. It's so surprising because for the longest time we just never saw Nico in these kind of environments, and now after the rework, she is everywhere. So gonna see that one into the mid lane against the LeBlanc should be interesting. Nico does have some outplay potential in that lane, but I mean, once again, just Lionscreed comp is so scary on paper.
Really, really is. It's a pretty terrifying little matchup that we've got all across the board. Nico, we haven't seen her too much. She really popped off and then she receded just a little bit. However, gonna be back. Painful has had some really good performances on it. Gonna be fascinated to see what he's able to do into this LeBlanc matchup, because both of these champions, they can fight into their lane, but you're looking to roam around once again. You're looking for that mid-jungle synergy to make these champions really work. LeBlanc, everybody knows how much she loves to roam. Same thing with the Nico, to get into other lanes, make chaos happen, and you have a lot of good options. Top lane, sure, it doesn't look like the single most explosive lane, but Bucci's going to be constantly trying to get Zewix as low as possible, blow that ultimate off of the Malphite just to make him uncomfortable. And bot lane, you've got a ton of early aggression. Both of these champions have ultimates that can provide some CC to make more things happen in the bot lane. So these junglers have a lot of potential to roam around the map and be joined by their mid laners to get things started.
I mean, roaming has definitely been the name of the game for Lionscreed. They made it work last match, and they made it work last game. We'll see if they can run it back this time around. As we get into game 2 of a potential 5, will we see a 2-0 already match point, or will Lightside make this a series? We'll have to find out going to the Rip. This time, it's the Chemtech Dragon to start off.
Alrighty. Lionscreed, are you going to concede a death this time around? Lightside, we'll see where their first kill of this series is going to come. I can see this one being a lot bloodier than the last. Lightside, get yourself into this game. The warm-up's been done. It's now do or die for the team. Going to be standard 5-point stances, not quite as brilliant an early invade out of Lionscreed as they could have had. Last game didn't go for it this time around. Just going to look for, once again, a little bit of vision. Panda is spotted out. And you do have Painful in the area, but Mill's there. Going forwards, just a little bit of extra damage. And despite the fact that you managed to get a ward down, there's nothing too much else to get. Panda looks like he's going to start top. Yeah.
About Emil does have that longsword start with the fleet footwork, so it's definitely going for that static shiv. I thought we were done with this.
No.
I thought this was gone. Why are we back?
You will never see it gone. Mainly because it's still actually pretty good. It's not working out on the majority of champions at this point, but this LeBlanc still going to be just fine to pick it up, and it's that extra just amount of poke damage that you can get that really does help. And this is a poke-based composition. You're going to be looking to constantly make sure your opposition is at least half health chunked down when you've got yourself a Varus and a LeBlanc going static, and then you can engage. Then you can actually try to find that full blow-up. And it's just a little bit harder to play assassins in the current meta when there's so many mitigation tools on both teams. It makes sense to go towards this static shiv, even if I agree with you. I hate it and I wish that it would go away.
Yeah, as unfun as it is to both play against and watch, it is very effective. LeBlanc, really her only flaw is the fact that her wave clear is very weak, and I mean, why not get the item that just makes anybody able to wave clear? Is on the note of wave clearing, Lightside trying to push this wave in. Meanwhile, Zuko thinking about potentially freezing, but obviously can't do that with Lightside moving up. Now they're going to be potentially, I was going to say maybe going into river and going to the jungle, but it does seem like Emp wants to go topside.
It's like, just going to be a little bit of a hover towards that way. Going these opposite directions is interesting. You tend to see junglers at the moment start towards the top side so that they can get into the bot lane. But Bucci going to be able to get a nice big push onto Zewix, leave this wave to bounce back out. The Malphite potentially being drawn into a position where it's going to be a little bit risky. And last time around, we didn't see Bucci manage to find those early aggressive kills, actually get onto the map really and get anything done. If you can actually get this Renekton going, all of a sudden this champion can be terrifying, can really just be a side lane dominator and be useful into the team fights too. Does mean, though, that Panda will be uncontested if he wants to go for a bot side gank. You can see it's been warded out, though, so not necessarily going to be able to be a nice, easy one for Lionscreed like it was last time around.
Bucci in a bit of a rough spot already against the Malphite, but now going about that 30% mark with the mana and the gank coming through, this could be very dangerous for Zewix. Thinks that he has an opportunity on the Bucci, but now Emp has arrived trying to find something. Q there to try to escape, but now the Malphite completely out of mana. Oh, the teleport might be able to save him. Oh, the Tammy's going, and it goes through. I can't believe it. Wow, actually managed to get away.
Zewix, my man, just going to be able to get back to base. Does have to blow the teleport, and I would still count that as a well-executed gank for EMP. But that feels pretty bad to lose out on that one. The teleport play, big-brained, love to see it. And Lionscreed continuing their streak of not losing out on a single kill so far in this series. But that's exactly what I was saying. Bucci got the early shove up onto the top lane. It left Zewix completely out of position. Had to go so far away from his turret in order to survive. Did manage to give the little bit of a run around to use the teleport to get away though, so it's not going to be a kill. Doesn't burn the flash as well, importantly, so Zewix still going to be in a relatively comfortable position. Bucci hasn't managed to get back to base yet, so is going to be in just a little bit of a weaker position than he would really like to be. Looks to shove this wave out, hopefully, and then get himself a recall.
Bucci trying to once again find an opportunity for that kill on the top side. Does have the level advantage, so will hit 6 first, hopefully, unless something interferes with that. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, not too exciting. I mean, usually we just see this lane kind of like last game where it's just poking and pushing and not a whole lot going on unless the junglers come through. But the spot lane, I'm surprised it's been so peaceful so far. It's two engaged supports, you usually see some fighting going on, but neither one... Well, we did see a bit of a skirmish on our second screen a moment ago, but still, neither one really wanting to pull a trigger.
At this early on, you can see why both of these teams would want to just play a little bit calmer. Lightside going to go straight towards this Drake. Uncontested, most likely. Panda not in a position.
Oh, Bucci. It's brought very low, but Zewix is in a dangerous
How
spot
far
here.
off of ult is Zewix? Panda's here.
Oh, but look at this. Panda just flashes over, trying to find something, and will. Yep, first blood over to the Lionscreed jungler, but still Dragon going over to Lightside, so maybe a little bit more worth for Lionscreed, but still at least something in consolation for Lightside.
Oh, Lightside, yep, they managed to pick up the Drake, but that feels terrible. Once again, Zewix escapes with a sliver of HP. Bucci not going to be able to find that solo kill, and then took just too many turret shots. Wasn't able to keep himself healthy. Panda, he wasn't in a position to contest onto the Drake, was able to get to the top lane to get that gank off. It's going to be another kill on the Panda. Last time he went towards that Dark Seal. I don't really see him doing that again in this game, but still feeling pretty good about himself, managing to get onto that kill. Once again, Lionscreed just finding ways to be a little bit cleaner in this game so far. Lightside, the initial Drake though, something they didn't manage to pick themselves up in the last game, so that is at least something.
And now, maybe in an interesting spot, could go for that blue buff and maybe re-gank top, but wants to go to the bottom side of the map. Bucci does have level 6 in this lane. Maybe could look for another opportunity for a solo kill in the third one this time. Maybe it will be the charm, but painful. Trying to hide as a minion was not working on Emil. I was wondering, like, what's painful, but just pushing this wave. A bit calm right now. We did see that gank in the top side, but as you said, yeah, a bit of a calm game. Both these teams just want to wait for the mid game before dedicating to anything really risky or any potential fights. Now, Lionscreed maybe could be looking to get ganked here. Emp on the bottom side of the map, Bucci spotting out Panda on the top side. But the lane state, not the greatest down there to get a gank off.
Not really going to be particularly easy to do so. As we can see, the beginnings of items coming through. Nothing's too out of the ordinary. Doesn't look like Spikey's going to go for that full poke build. He certainly could have done at the same time. A bit of extra healing, just being able to do some more on-hit damage will be just fine. Have to see which full build he decides to go for in the end. Everybody else, pretty standard, nothing too interesting. Already some anti-heal coming through for Zewix. Just wants to keep himself alive as long as possible because his job is not to win this lane. It's just to get into those team fights, knock multiple members up and allow the rest of your team to do their thing. Made that much easier by the Nature's Grasp from Panda, which was so effective in the team fights last game.
And Ruby Crystal picked up from Zewix as well. I wonder if he's going to go for that full Thornmail rush. But speaking of rush, Bucci trying to rush down this fight, has the opportunity. Second, he comes through and has to use the ult defensively. Bucci now going to push this in. This is not a great spot for Zewix, who has to take the recall now.
Doesn't have the teleport either, so Zewix going to lose out on a huge minion wave. See, EMP is on the way through. Zewix needs to run. No ultimate to jump away. Does read that the play's risky, keeps going back, stepping up, EMP. Can't decide if he wants to go in, try to get that kill, or go towards the Rift Herald. In the end, decides to go for Rift Herald. Could pop it top lane and completely take out this turret.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Top turret already brought fairly low, only 9 minutes into this game. EMP just picking up this Herald for now. No contest is gonna come through since Maokai's on the wrong side of the map, but look at this. Rel, well, I was going to say was in the mid lane, but did take the recall to go away. I was going to see if maybe they were going to cancel, but Emp now finally getting that Herald, but not going to pop it top quite yet.
Things just going to remain relatively even, and at this point in the game last time around, Lionscreed managed to pick themselves up a huge advantage. Right now, small gold advantage for Lightside. Haven't popped down this Herald either, so have access to a decent chunk more to come. Well, things just being a little bit calmer does work in the favor of Lightside. Their composition really comes online at that 2 to 3 items. They've got some huge team fight potential as well. Painful gonna be looking for those massive pop blossoms. We've seen plenty of them just completely change up the course of a team fight. Massive damage, huge AoE CC as well. And yet to see any long-range snipes out of Nitchit. Many Enchanted Crystal arrows landed by Spiky from long range, from short range, everything in between. Nitchit's gonna be having to follow up on that performance if he wants to get the most out of this champion.
Yeah, it's always an interesting feeling whenever you're playing something like the Ashe after the other person just played it so perfectly. You have very big shoes to fill in on your side of the comp, but now look at this. Panda spotted out, wants to immediately go in, but no clear engage angle there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Chi coming through here, does get hit by the chain, so snared down, no real threat there. But Dragon coming up in 3 seconds. Mountain, you would like to have it. It's not, you know, a dire need, but Mountain Dragon by itself still very nice to have. Is Lightside going to start this one up?
Going straight onto this one. Teleport coming through is going to be a flank.
Oh, yeah, very good flank here from Zuix. Does have the ultimate. Oh, and this is such a good angle for him. Zuko not going to be able to find the hook next to Flash, and Neil does find the kill onto Bucci. No ultimate yet, but there goes Painful with the huge pop loss, and this is going to try to cleanse to get out. But he's just so low. Going to go down any second now, and so will Emp. Flash the follow from Panda. Painful in a rough spot here. Finds the snare and is able to get away. Dr. Chaos. Maybe gonna be able to pick up the kill on the Zuko, but he's able to get away from now. We're gonna just clear out this vision and take this dragon.
Coming through with another report that says that Lightside have still failed to pick themselves up a single kill in this game. And at this point, I'm a little bit worried that they're not going to be able to find one all series long. Lionscreed, just a brilliant little team fight. Didn't work out quite the way that they were hoping. Ended up having to turn into the backline to kill Bucci, meaning that despite the fact it was a great Nature's Grasp out of Panda, Zwix wasn't able to use that ultimate to completely capitalize onto it. But still, because of that lovely little teleport into the backline from Zwix, everybody on Lightside had to turn and stop, and they couldn't follow up on Bucci, who had gone into the backline. Then you've lost that initial kill, and the follow-up from Lionscreed is brilliant. They pick themselves up that Drake as well, taking it to 1 apiece, and are really showing that they can just team fight and rotate around the map better than Lightside so far.
Yep, now, finally, this Herald's going to be popped topside. That tower now definitely going to go down. Let's see what the response is from Lionscreed. You do have Dr. Chaos coming up, but they're chasing Zuix very far into his own lane. Has to flash away. No ultimate available. This could be a rough look. Emp now just do... Oh, actually, maybe re-engage here from Bucci. Zuix has to be careful. Goes back in. Herald Charge is going to be able to come through. Now Panda has finally arrived, but it's just too late. They've already gotten 2 charges, and they're getting out.
Well executed Herald play right there. Keeps the gold nice and even right here for Lightside. Even a small advantage to them. Zuix super low, still tanky though. Bucci not going to be able to deal enough damage on his own. The Panda is beginning to lose out onto this blue buff. I think it does just about survive, so we'll be able to pick this one up. But Lightside, despite the fact they still haven't found any kills, are still fighting in this game. Emil?
Well, they might be able to find a kill here. Emil in a lot of trouble, but not too much. Zuko there to back and let that hook would have been very dangerous, but does miss the mark thanks to an ult from Emp. Now, maybe could look for something in the bottom side.
Turret plating will fall soon.
But no, just a recall coming through from Nidget, not giving them any opportunity to get picked. Oh, actually he's staying. Maybe something could come through here. Now it's just a matter of whether or not Zuko recalls. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, the game, once again, starting off very well for Lionscreed. Not as big as last time. And that's a positive for Lightside, but still, no kills, only 1 Herald and 1 Dragon and 1 turret.
When you look just at that kill score, it looks really bad right now for Lightside, but they're still in a perfectly fine position, and it needs to be these big team fights where they really manage to come online. You want a pick, first of all, just to make the most of that single target damage that you do have out of your Ashe, your Graves, and your Renekton, and then turn it into a full team fight. See, on the gold right here, a little bit of an advantage for Spiky over Nidget. Just been able to get a couple more kills across the board. The farming still going decently well for Nidget. They're not out of this game or anything. There is a pretty significant advantage, though, up in the top side of the map. Bucci has managed to pick himself up a full turret, good damage onto that tier 2 as well, and just has been effective on the map. Not finding those initial kills, though, does hurt a Renekton who will fall off when compared to a Malphite later into the game.
Yeah, he's trying to find the kill still, though. Gotta applaud that. Bucci still chasing Zewix down his own lane. Absolutely no fear in that matter, but I mean, it's just getting harder and harder with every recall that Zewix had the Bramble Vest last time, now has the Ninja Tabi. It's very hard to try to find a kill on a Malphite who's got this much armor early on. As now, Static Shiv putting in work onto Painful. Now is getting constantly shoved in on. This is when the LeBlanc starts to really get annoying. And it's times like these where I remember being excited for Static Shift coming back, and I regret my excitement now.
Zewix once again going to be the focus of a gang.
Yeah, look at this. Zewix in some trouble here. Actually, who's actually getting picked here? Because that's a ultimate coming through from Panda, trying to find somebody, but no follow-up from either side yet. Lots of members of Lionscreed coming up, though. All five. They really want to make this fight happen. Emil able to find the chain onto Emp, but has to back off. So no real danger there for Lightside, but it did look iffy for a moment, and it does seem like Herald's going to go over to Lionscreed.
And he pings down onto the Herald. However, all 5 members of both teams are hovering around the area. Lightside a little bit more split up. All of Lionscreed in the pit.
Oh, nice arrow there, but I think that was no, that was the real one. Yeah, in some trouble here. Does get taken down. Pot Blossom trying to find something on the other end.
Huge for Lightside.
Oh, actually was able to get away. Lightside maybe now can turn this fight. Lionscreed falling down one by one. Double kill for the Ashe. This is exactly what Lionscreed wanted to get back, not only into this game, but into this match, picking up their first 3 kills. What? No, Panda might get away here, actually. The recall's coming through. Yeah, he's out of there. That was hilarious, but still, a very good fight for Lightside.
Yeah, funny cap to what was a brilliant little play for Lightside. 16 minutes into game 2, Lightside picked themselves up their first kill of the game, their first 3 kills of the entire series. It's pretty huge, though. All 3 of them are going to result in another Drake. That's now 2 in the pockets of Lightside. More than that, it was 2 kills onto your Ashe. Nitchit going to be able to complete onto that Kraken Slayer, make his way towards those next couple of buffs. And overall, it was just a little bit too split of a fight. Lionscreed, they were all condensed in the pit, but as we see onto the replay here, it's that initial Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto Emil and just then gets taken out. Dr. Chaos managing to get into the backline, pick up that kill. Painful, huge Pot Blossom to just keep himself alive. And sure, Panda manages to pick himself up that Rift Herald and then did a little bit of fancy feet with this ward right here. Ward, real MVP, whoever placed it. Managing to keep good old Panda alive. But still, big props to Lightside. They were keeping themselves even in gold, if not in kills. Now they managed to find those kills and turn it into a good objective. It does mean that Panda picks up that Herald, fighting top.
Ruchi actually played that one pretty well, able to predict the
EMP is here.
movements now. Yeah, EMP here to back him up, but unfortunately does have that W to just get away, and no real prize there. Unfortunately, even Bucci had to burn the ultimate. Now on the bottom side, though, Painful could be in some trouble in the Malphite space here. Kind of a bit of trouble figuring out which one was 0-1, but was able to get some damage onto the right one. Meanwhile, mid lane, Herald being popped here by Panda. Should be able to get the charge off, and I think that should kill the turret as well.
Yep.
Now, they're gonna abandon any idea of a second charge, though. Don't see where the members of Lightside are, so understandably, they back up, and now Lightside are gonna try to get some pushing of their own in.
So if you were worried this was going to be a complete stomp Lionscreed way, game 2 definitely put that to ease. Arrow just about missing. Still, Nitchit in the team fight managed to find the one that really counted. They've just got a little bit less follow-up as well, Lightside do, than Lionscreed in the previous game. Missing out on that arrow doesn't feel great, not the end of the world. There wasn't too much follow-up in the area anyway. So we go back into a more calm game state. There's a small gold lead, about 1,000 for Lightside. Got themselves 1 extra Drake, and those first items are completed for everybody looking to move on to those second items right now. Look at that. That is 4 of those boots that make sure you don't have to be CC'd for quite as long. A little bit of a hangover from the last game, perhaps, as well as the fact there's still a ton of CC on Lionscreed too.
Yeah, probably a mixture of both. I'm sure that they still have a bit of PTSD from the last game, but I mean, this game, they've been playing so well compared to the last one. Have a bit of a gold lead in their favor. So we do have a series on our hands. It's not going to be just a complete flawless victory from Lionscreed. So we'll see how far Lightside can take this momentum that they've managed to regain, but it does worry me with their comp. The Renekton has not been, you know, I mean, Bucci has been playing well, but the Renekton hasn't been getting the gold that he wants, and it's going to be very problematic the longer this game goes on.
And Bucci into the backline is a terrifying prospect for Lionscreed. At the same time, Zewix into the backline is a terrifying prospect for Lightside. You just have to have the follow-up around both of these champions. You'd prefer more solo kills onto this Renekton so that he can just sit in a sideline, teleport into team fights, and really get involved. It's still a decent early start to the game, better than last time as well. Gordrinker completed, so it's going to have a lot of healing. Zewix needs to be careful here. Don't take too much damage, otherwise there was a potential for an engaged teleport.
Oh, teleport coming through. Emil trying to find the chain, but the clone is making that hard to do. Flash as well. Now the counter teleport. This one from Bucci, who's going to arrive, but no real fight anymore as now we're back to the LeBlanc versus Renekton pushing in the side.
This one should just go back to being pretty even. More than anything, Bucci trying to get into that bot lane to stop a play from happening and just continue to pick up that gold. Still though, you've now teleported into the bot lane as this Renekton, when it is 20 minutes into the game, that Baron is available. Neither of these teams is going to shred it just in one go, you know. Gonna have to get a couple of picks first to be able to try to take this Baron. They want it already, but it's just not ideal to have to blow your teleport so early. Emil goes in, misses the chain, jumps back out. And this is a fascinating little point for the back and forth chess match of the draft. Emil's had this LeBlanc banned away from him a huge amount. Whenever it seems to go through, he's able to pick up those victories. Obviously, Static Shiv on the LeBlanc is not as strong as it used to be. If you lose out on this game right here as Lionscreed, all of a sudden Lightside know that they don't have to ban out that one. And they're not as terrified of it as teams have been before. It really opens up the draft because previously Lightside have really felt like they just had 3 bans that they had to take off of the board and didn't really have anything else to put onto other big problems that they were facing with Lionscreed champion pools.
Yeah, and what's interesting is before the match started, we were talking about how Speaky had played Kog'Maw all 3 games. Hasn't been able to pick it up this time. There's Dragon now spawning Cloud Soul. Not too exciting, but is useful for some champions. I actually don't... I mean, I guess Bucci... I don't know how Cloud Soul interacts with Nico Ultimate particularly, but off the top of my head, could be beneficial for her as well.
You always want some extra movement speed on a Nico. If you can get into that backline just a little bit easier, it would be absolutely huge. This could be big.
Oh, nice pick there from the Nico. Gonna be able to pick up kill.
Pop Blossom!
Pop Blossom is huge! Painful doing so much on this Nico pick. Lots of knockup from the Malphite Nautilus combo, but it's just not enough. Lightside doing so much work this fight, unable to find the real LeBlanc, but now they do. 3 members down, 1 from Lightside, and now Dragon gonna be going over to Lightside. This is very good for them compared to last game where they weren't able to pick up any kills. Now they have a pretty comfortable lead.
Gonna pick up this Drake means it's soul point right here for Lightside. Last time around they didn't manage to get any. If we watch this team fight again, it's just a brilliant little engage. Emil's way too far into the backline. You managed to get out that initial pick onto the Maokai, and you just don't get that full Nature's Grasp. It gets tanked onto the front line, doesn't get into the back line. Pop Blossom huge as well to just stun up, chunk out Zuko and Spiky. Then you're able to just run through the backline. Zewix gets into that team fight way too late, and he does a decent chunk of damage. I'm not sure what Emil was doing there. Jumped in, could potentially have run away. Instead gives his life over as well. And the team fights just aren't working out right now for Lionscreed. That's now 2 in a row that they've been losing out on. Looking for a pick onto Dr. Chaos. Hook back, does have a Blast Cone.
Blast Cone still there, and is going to be able to get Dr. Chaos out. I mean, after all that, it wasn't that much health taken away, but granted, it was 2 tanks trying to kill him, but now Baron, a bit of vision control in the favor of Lionscreed. Lightside trying to find a way to transition back to Baron, try to regain that vision control. Something that is very important to them, especially considering last game that did seem to be a very big problem. The fact that they weren't able to see Lionscreed setting up any of these plays. Now they're trying to fix that issue. That is a good amount of damage considering that was just a Q.
Fancy feet out of Zuko, otherwise that could well have been a dead Nautilus. We do have Bucci down in the bottom side of the map without teleport, will come out just about now, so both of these top laners have free reign to be in the bot side, can teleport back. There's much better vision around that pit right now for Lionscreed. They've got tons more wards just around the area. No real flank wards though. Pushing forwards, Chaos gonna have to run. Emil taking good chunks of damage, and this should just fizzle out right here. Bucci has roamed up.
Nice
Arrow.
crystal arrow. Oh my, he dodges it again. Zuko, though, is going to be locked down eventually. Teleport's being used.
Oh, Bucci's dead.
Nice engage. Oh, Bucci falls down. This could be very problematic for Lightside, having to fight backwards now. But Dr. Chaos with the re-engage, trying to make it happen. Nidget is on his own in the
Lightside.
He's doing so much work. Nidget kiting out of his mind, running away from the Maokai sapling. Should be able to kill him, though. Emil, now the last member of Lionscreed, trying to maybe find the outplay, but I think he might have bitten off more than he could chew. Has to run away. Will he be able to get away? He will, but still another fantastic fight for Lightside. They're making this game happen.
They really are looking to send us into a proper series right here. Lightside, find that engage. Missed Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the fancy feat. Ibuchi goes in, gets stunned up, takes a ton of damage, and does die really early into this fight. And you think this fight's going to go brilliantly for Lionscreed. The Zewix in the backline just doesn't have the follow-up. You've got so much long-range poke. Painful, just constantly poking. Same thing for Nidget, flashing over the wall just to keep himself alive. Unfortunately, one little sapling, and this is a slow, sad death for the AD carry of Lightside, but a very happy team fight overall. Only one member of Lionscreed remaining. They aren't able to turn it into a Baron, though. Far too many low health bars for Lightside to be able to do that.
It's interesting. Why is that ward there, I wonder? But painful. I didn't even know that the minions would attack the ward if Nico was disguised as it. That's hilarious, but...
It looks so funny.
Why are the minions clearing the ward for me? That's interesting. But Bucci in the bottom side, once again just trying to match this LeBlanc, trying to prevent her from creating any side lane threat. Does have Emp behind, in case they want to do anything there, but... For now, I think this is mostly just another one of those trying to get information, trying to get vision, and not wanting to risk too much. Dragon coming up in a minute 17, Baron sitting there, but it is, like we said earlier, very difficult for either of these teams to melt it down. Can't really go Baron in 5v5 situations like this.
No, you can't, and you're really seeing some of the issue with this Lionscreed composition where they have a composition that kind of wants to be poke, but they haven't really fully committed to it. It's the on-hit build right here, out of Spiky, and he hasn't really been able to just kite back and hit onto the opposition. Nietzsche have been having a much better time of it in that regard.
Oh,
Zewix.
This Zewix might be in trouble, has to flash away, but the Crystal Arrow will actually not find the mark. They're still trying to chase ultimate from Emp just to poke him around, why not? But no deaths going over to either side. Just some more calm farming. You know, I'm wondering, with both teleports up for these people in the side lane, Emil and Bucci, maybe look to start something and get some teleports in. Panda on the side here might get caught. Painful.
Oh.
Almost found the snare, but Panda able to flash away at the last second. And I didn't see who got that camp, but I do think it was EMP. It's now Lightside. Maybe could look for an engage here. They are going up towards the Baron pit. Bucci, that's a lot of damage you're taking, my friend, and he is going to take the recall understandably. But now look at this. Lionscreed are going right for the Baron. Are they going to start it? They are. They're going to try to melt out this Baron. I said earlier, you can't really start Baron in the 5v5. But they don't seem to care. They just want to start this one up. Zuko trying to zone everybody away by himself, and it's working out so far. Teleport coming in from Bucci on the side. They do back off the Baron now that they have the Renekton arriving. He's trying to find a pick on the Zuko. Zuko's in a lot of trouble, has to flash away. Now Emil on the other side here, trying to get some poke on the Bucci, who's now rooted down. Will the chain come out? It will. Second snare will not be able to find itself as Emp gets a little bit of damage onto Emil before he switches back. And once again, a lot of things happening, but no kills going over.
So the reason Lionscreed went for that Baron play right there is because Bucci got chunked out by so much. He knew you had a couple of seconds where he needed to go back to base, fully get all of his health back, and then teleport in. It was just a couple of extra seconds, and you're able to guarantee that Bucci had to just blow that teleport instantaneously to get himself back into lane. For now, Lightside going to go straight towards this Drake. It is Soul for them. If they're able to pick this one up, that's a full completed Cloud Soul. Right now, Lionscreed, they have to know it's happening from the positioning. Now they move on towards the Baron. Pretty late, though, decided to push out that mid lane first. It's going to be contested right here for Lightside. If Lionscreed don't get something done here, a team fight, a Baron, they've just lost out.
They have the vision advantage, but now Panda spotted up, but it will not matter. Snare comes through. Dr. Chaos able to get away, though. Bucci on the side trying to find something on the Zewix. Imp there to back him up. Pop Blossom is able to only find one, but it's still huge. Ultimate from the Malphite Nullus as well.
Ooh,
and Lionscreed are in a lot of trouble. Lightside just cleaning this one up. Oh, maybe not. Lionscreed starting to turn it. F maybe here. Gonna try to influence this one. Panda able to find Nixit in all of that, but now he's gonna go down. Bucci chasing down Zewix, the only member left of Lionscreed, who's just gonna fall. Ace should be coming. Oh, wait, maybe not. No way. Zewix actually survived with a sliver of HP, but still 4 members for 3 and a Baron being started up by EMP. I'm not sure if they can do this, but they're certainly gonna try.
Low health and mana right here. Teleport coming in for Zewix. He'd be able to turn this one around. Doesn't have the ultimate right here, so just going to have to play bodyguard, make sure that Lightside have to back off. Don't know necessarily, like you said, that they'd have been able to pick that one up anyway. The reason that team fight went better was because there was just a little bit more free hitting allowed for Spikey. Is able to just kite away, keep himself into the backline. You can see it here. Painful goes in, Spikey flashes away, able to free hit, picks himself up a kill onto Painful. Another kill goes down onto... In the end, you just have more healing, unfortunately, for Lightside. They're able to just keep themselves in these team fights for longer.
Oh, that's a caught Nautilus. Zuko is as dead as they come. They're trying to find the re-engage, but the Pop Blossom's waiting for Emil, who's gonna just... Oh, well, not quite yet, but now we'll finally just get deleted. And Lightside now pushing this in. Could look for the turret. It's very low. But it does seem like they want to back off and go Baron. 3v5 if Lionscreed elect to go on it. But a lot of ultimates used on the side of Lightside. No Rel ultimate, no Crystal Arrow, no Pop Blossom. And it doesn't seem like they're interested. So yeah, it will just be a Baron going over to Lightside. And I mean, wow. I mean, this has just been a phenomenal difference between last game and this game. Last game, I mean, I was already writing Lightside on its obituary, and now it looks like they might win this one.
Certainly does. They've got themselves a Baron right now, a full soul, and they are up by almost 8,000 gold. A huge gold lead in the back pockets. They had no kills coming into this game. All of a sudden exploded onto the map. Really impressive look out of Lightside, and it's coming off of the fact that they just are able to heal for longer. They have great CC to lay down, and you can't step up truly into these team fights because the Pop Blossom Art of Painful is huge. It means that everybody gets stunned up, gets a ton of damage laid down right onto their heads. Bucci, after what was a pretty back and forth game last time around, had the only real success his team found has been great, right into the back line, able to get things done. Another engage here.
Dr. Chaos maybe went a little bit too deep, has the ultimate going through. Bucci gonna try to back him up. Crystal Arrow finds the Boris and all of that, and the Pop Blossom's huge in the front line. Lightside now gonna be able to just clean the rest of this one up. Double kill for the Ashe. EMP continuing forward. Painful with a huge snare. That's now a triple kill for the Ashe. Make it a quadra, why not? No Penta this time around. But still, Lightside, after what was a very questionable Game 1, has completely flipped the script, taking us to Game 3, and we finally have a series on our hands.
Love it that we're going to go to a series. Lightside showing that Game 1 was a little bit of a fluke. Hey, they had a couple of lag-based issues, technical difficulties. When they get rid of those, clearly this team is unleashed. Both of them now have really impressive games. And overall, I think that Lightside showed a little bit more grit. Things just went wrong immediately in that Lionscreed win. Lightside, they fell down, didn't really ever get themselves back into that game, whereas this showed a lot of back and forth that Lightside were able to come out on top of. Those team fights were really impressive, and plays out of some members who had terrible times in that first game, really showing that Lightside have got their heads on their shoulders once again. They know that they can fight back in this game. Please can we go to all 5? It would be far too fun.
Oh, I would love it if we went to all 5 games. It would be so great. We're going to have to see in just a moment how this next game's going to play out. Now 1-1 for both sides. Who's going to pick up game 3? It's the most important one. Who's going to have that match point for the rest of the game, or the rest of the match, sorry. We're going to be right back to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have a series on our hands and quite an exciting one at that. That last game was so exciting, and I can't wait to see how this game 3 is going to play out. Bloxer, I'm real hyped. I'm real hyped. Finally, we're here.
Oh, a little bit worried. After game 1, we were a little bit worried, let's say that, because Lightside managed to pick themselves up 0 kills, and it was feeling a little bit like a potential Lionscreed stomp. In the end, though, we get into game 2, things first 15 minutes, pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. Lightside managed to absolutely pop off some really impressive teamfight performances out of them, and they managed to pick themselves up a win, 1 apiece right now, so we've at least got 4 games. Hopefully we get to go all the way to 5 because this series has been really fun so far.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see this go to 5 games. We were talking about the difference between game 1 and game 2. Nichit, game 1, kind of didn't really get to do anything, and that second game was just showing, it did seem like he did have a chip on her shoulder playing Ashe after that fantastic game 1 performance on the other side, but he had a just as great, if not better, performance on himself.
I mean, holy kiting, Batman. The plays were just really impressive. Nobody was able to get on top of him. Pretty much the entire game was just keeping just a little bit, couple of centimeters out of range of everything at all times, laying down a ton of damage with that Trinity Force build, and was just really impressive. It wasn't quite the sniper special that we saw out of Spiky. Instead, it was just perfectly good Ashe play, kiting back, making sure that he was able to be useful for his team, and everybody really had just a more solid performance. It felt like for game 1, Lightside, they weren't quite switched on. Game 2, much more impressive. Lionscreed, they still showed plenty of potential in this second game as well. The issues that they faced, unfortunately, was Emil just didn't find success on that LeBlanc. It's something that gets banned away from him all the time, and yet this game, missing a lot of chains, wasn't really able to find either just damage onto people or those big explosive plays that we really think of when you imagine a LeBlanc. Nobody got bursted, nobody just died. Wasn't really able to find it.
Yeah, and you were talking, I should say, earlier about how LeBlanc was banned away a lot against Lionscreed, and now Lightside has seen, the LeBlanc, it's not some unbeatable pick that everyone else seems to think it is. Maybe they'll just keep letting it through, keep letting them pick up the LeBlanc, and just keep playing well on their own. We'll have to see. We'll be getting to draft any moment now, but I do want to talk about draft with you, Bloxer. Do you think we're going to see the same draft this time around? Do you think maybe Lionscreed will make some adjustments?
I could see Lionscreed trying to change up a couple of things. The LeBlanc just didn't work. We've seen the most success in the mid lane for Emil on those actual AD carriers, the Lucian and the Tristan. The Tristan's been banned out a lot. The Lucian's been left open, so that is a potential thing that he could pick up. The Syndra was also taken away, so one of those picks that he likes just wasn't working. The LeBlanc possibly isn't it, and if it gets left open through the bans again, I could see that being the exact same thing. I'm not sure if we're going to once again see Lionscreed on the blue side. If so, I can see them just trying to take those early junglers once again. But at the same time, if you do want to change something up as Lionscreed, I could see it being that mid lane potentially, or maybe even down towards the bottom side of the map. The Varus, it didn't really work out, wasn't the same pop-off performance that we saw either on the Ashe or the Kog'Maw that was taken away. So those are the lanes to really focus on as Lionscreed if you think you do need to change. At the same time, if you reckon that you can just run back the same kind of draft, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. It's not like it was a terrible game from them. They played very well, all things considered. It's just some things didn't work out the way they wanted. Personally, I think maybe it is a bit surprising to hear like the winning team needs to make adjustments, but I really do think maybe the Renekton either maybe a different pick or maybe a bit more attention onto his side of the map.
Quite possibly, and we've now seen multiple times where Lightside have been red side, and they've picked that Renekton super early on into the draft. Clearly it's worked out just fine so far, but just fine could maybe be changed up. Potentially give Bucci that counter pick. It is going to be red side once again for Lightside, so if they just want to take it nice and early on, I can see why they want it. It is fine, but maybe change something up. Give that confidence to Bucci to have a counter pick, or pick something different in the top lane and try to move away from that full top lane focus.
Lightside are going to be on this red side once again, as the Heimerdinger, no surprise, banned away here. Thinking about this one, but yeah, Tristana is going to be the follow-up. You would think that maybe they just don't like Yordles, but both these picks very good in the hands of Lionscreed. as pretty much all these bans have been the same the first 5, all 3 games, but we'll see if we're going to see the Braum banned away again, and it will, so run back in that sense. We'll see if Lionscreed want to once again first pick this map. Oh, the Ashe is actually going to be first.
Ashe. Clearly, it was Ashe diff. This is the decision that both of these teams have made. Spiky, brilliant performance in game 1. Nidgit, another pop-off performance in game 2. The Ashe being traded back and forth at this point in time. Without the Braum on Zuko, something he's been super comfortable on, played 4 games of it in a row, didn't get it in the last game, didn't have the best performance. With the Ashe, you really do like to have something like the Braum. There are plenty of other potential picks you could put alongside it, Rel being one of them. Lightside going to pick this one up for themselves. EMP's had a performance on it, Dr. Chaos had a performance on it, both of them had different times. Okay, Aphelios. I haven't seen a lot of Aphelios recently, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, Aphelios is kind of one of those picks where unless you play him a lot, it's just a matter of whether or not he's doing well in the meta. Right now is one of those times where Aphelios isn't the greatest pick, but Nidgit nonetheless feeling comfortable picking it up here. And if the pick's well executed, it can be an absolute menace. You can do so much damage from such a long distance away. Red-White, as we all know, the infamous duo, can just turn around teamfights completely. And we are going to see the Thresh picked up here, kind of denying one of Aphelios' better lanes and giving Ashe one of her better lanes.
Absolutely, that Ashe Thresh combo, it means that you can either engage onto people with the arrow into hook, or you get a lot of extra survivability, because Ashe does not have any dashes of her own. Really helps to have a lantern there to be able to take you away, make sure that you can survive through a team fight. We at this point don't know if it's going to be EMP or Dr. Chaos who takes this Rel. The better performance was certainly had by Dr. Chaos, and it can work pretty well alongside an Aphelios, so that is certainly a lane that it could go, but still, the Rel in the jungle can get some early ganks going, really find big team fight ultimates with that Magnet Storm. Either way, still keeps options open and Lionscreed on their toes. They're going to ban out the Graves, so do still think that EMP could be looking for his own jungler.
Yeah, they do think, I guess, that the Rel could potentially be flex support, which, to be fair, is entirely possible. It's still a menace in that part of the map, and Lionscreed, with this last ban, will they go jungle again, or will they focus it somewhere else? Sylas, kind of a flex, but mostly focused towards that mid lane.
Hey. Sylas ban does potentially mean that Lionscreed would like to pick themselves up that Malphite again. There are a couple big flanks that were found by Zewix, but the rest of the team was just on the back foot already, wasn't quite able to make that one work quite as well. Humble, okay, that's something Lionscreed's actually been playing quite a lot more. Will be taken right here. That's a super high damage carry.
Yeah, and Rumble is a very, very solid pick in that top lane. Kind of underrated in that sense. Don't normally see it banned out, but we do see it picked up quite often all around the world. And as you said, Sylas ban usually means Malphite, and that is picked up. I was also going to say Sylas ban can also leave an Azir angle open, but I'm not sure if Emil plays Azir.
There is... I don't think I've seen it particularly in his champion pool. He certainly can play it, but it's not one of those picks that he's been popping off on too much recently. The Syndra is available, something that he played in game 1. Really impressive. There it is. There it is.
There's the mid lane illusion. It's been, I mean, outside of Emil playing it, it's been a very long time since I've seen the solo lane illusion come out, so it's always interesting to see that one picked up now and again. And now this last pick from Lightside, gonna be very interesting. Could be jungle, could be support. They're waiting till the last second. Nefiri! Yes! I was gonna say. Oh, and I'm not even, never mind. It's Zed. Zed's still exciting, don't get me wrong, but Nefiri would have been so cool.
Imagine the scenes, you know, that have to happen for us to be sad that a Zed was picked. You know, when Zed's the boring option. Oh yeah, boy, actually, okay.
The question now is, where's this Rumble going? Because I like I said, it did seem like jungle or support angle, but now Rumble in the jungle. I mean, I think he has a skin for that. Hopefully Emp picks it up. It would be very nice to see, but Rumble jungle, I haven't seen that one since like at least 2016. It's been so long.
pops up every now and again when they unfortunately overbuff Rumble. Really interesting to see what happens, because this is very much in EMP's wheelhouse. He likes those champions that kind of want to scale a little bit later on into the game. Once you hit that 2 to 3 item mark, that's the point at which you really want to be popping off. Rumble does a ridiculous amount of damage in the early game if you can find those ganks, but you are really focusing on the rest of your team having found the CC for you, because Rumble doesn't really lay down any of his own. A bit of a slow, and that's pretty much all he can add. The Z doesn't really give you any CC, but a ton of burst damage if you're able to get onto somebody, but it's going to be top and bot lane ganks more often than not for EMP if he decides to really gank at all. If not, just sit in the jungle, scale up until later on. It is very counter as a style to what Panda likes to do. We've seen it during this series in perfectly clear fashion. Panda wants to gank early. With this, Maokai looks to get into lanes, gank, get everybody ahead. Did it pretty well in that second game and exceptionally in the first game, especially alongside Emil roaming around. But then you're sat on Lionscreed, and sure, you found some early ganks, potentially got a couple of kills, but where's the AP damage? Is it the Malphite and the Maokai? I mean, it can be, certainly, but if it's full AP Malphite, all of a sudden he goes in, explodes somebody, and immediately dies. That's not particularly helpful. If not, you're relying on some saplings from Panda. This composition out of Lionscreed, I like the Lucian on Emil in isolation, but in the context of the whole draft, it just leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, and that is a big point that I was going to bring up. Luckily, you did bring it up first, was the fact that they are really lacking in that magic damage department. Maybe, as you just said, could have gotten something else instead of the Lucian, but you do have the potential for AP Maokai, AP Malphite, but if you do go the AP Malphite, you're basically just like an easier to execute Assassin Lee Sin, but you're AP instead. And you just go 1-for-1 and hope that your team can finish up the rest. So if they do go that angle, it'll be interesting. They do have the front line to do it with the Maokai and the Thresh. We'll just have to see. This very, very interesting draft. Game 3 into this amazing series. I can't wait to see how it's going to play out. First dragon will be the Cloud. So no Cloud Soul like last time, but still, we are heading into Game 3 of what, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, will be a full 5-game series.
Alrighty, winner of this one goes on to face against Munster, looking to get themselves into those finals versus Venom Crest. The team who wins out in that Munster versus whoever wins here matchup gets the privilege of probably losing 3-0 versus Venom Crest, but you want to get as far as possible in this series. Munster going to be watching on with bated breath to see who they're up against. Lionscreed, brilliant game 1. Lightside pulling it back in game 2. This is a real decider right here, because you win this game, you're on soul point. You're on game point. All of a sudden, your opposition is in a pretty scary position. A lot of momentum for Lionscreed coming into this matchup, whereas Lightside, they've had to claw it back for themselves, and the draft they've chosen to do in this Game 3 is super interesting. Rumble in the jungle, we don't see that very often. Zed, while we do see him more and more often recently, it's always exciting to get, and the Aphelios that's been on the edges of the meta recently, but not one of those full meta champions.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no Rumble in the jungle skin. I was disappointed to see that it was the... oh, wait, actually, what skin is that on Lucian? I don't think I've ever seen that skin. Is that... Oh, I think that's a chroma for High Noon, right?
Gotta be honest, not a skin gamer. Have zero clue about skins.
Well, it is a nice skin nonetheless. Lots of pretty good skins going on all around. It's always nice playing in tournament realm, because we do get to hopefully see people pull out some pretty cool skins that you don't normally see playing around on the Rift, as going straight for that Raptors, the blue path. That I don't think I've ever seen that one taken before, but I think it's pretty standard for Rumble jungle. Sorry.
Just gonna go towards these relatively standard clears. You don't want to change anything up too much for the minute. EMP will be getting pretty low on this clear. Rumble does take quite a lot of damage from those camps, but you're against a Maokai. That's not exactly someone who's going to be looking to counter-engage too much. For the minute, things looking pretty calm. This bot lane has been super explosive during the rest of this series. Not so sure we're going to get to see the same again. A couple of hooks out of Zuko could change things up. Dr. Chaos with that ultimate could be huge. And during the last game, we did see some absolutely incredible ultimates coming out of Dr. Chaos. That Magnet Storm was just pulling multiple members in, making it so Painful could just execute them off with that ultimate too. If we can see that same level of synergy this time around, it'd be pretty huge. A little bit of an engage here from Panda to try to counter jungle, but all of those camps already taken away. EMP nice and safe up on the top side.
I'm sure I'm not sure if they expected the Rumble to be there, but it did seem like they were potentially looking for something. But now, Emp about to finish full clearing. Could look for a gank top side. Maybe could look for the lane gank, but not a whole lot that Rumble can do in the early stages of the game, especially as low HP as he is. But look at this, maybe a bit of a skirmish on the top side. Both of them a little bit below half health. And yeah, Imp is gonna come up for this gank. But I don't think, like I said, there's not a whole lot you can do there with the lane pushed up. Scuttle already taken by Panda. So, not the most exciting start to the game, but still, now in this top side, anything could happen. Now that EMP has come back, he's just gonna back off again, understandably. Well, actually, I can't tell. He keeps going back and forth. It's so hard to tell if EMP wants the gank. Lots of pings coming down. But look at this. Might not even need the gank. Bucci so low. Can he find the play? He can. Zuix pulling off what I didn't think was possible and finding the first blood onto the Renekton. Now Emil can over the wall, trying to bully Imp out of their own jungle. He's on the box. It keeps going. Play comes through. Lantern as well, trying to find the hook. Flash forward, but can't find anything else. Midget now returning back, able to get some nice shots on the sniper. Gravitum is not there, but Dr. Chaos is going to pick the kill nonetheless. Now Dr. Chaos still chasing, but SPK gonna flash away, and there's a lot of excitement across the map. And at the end of the day, it's just 1-1.
Big plays all across the map. Lionscreed trying to get aggressive down in the bottom side of the map. Does not work out for them though. Top side though, Bucci trying to get a solo kill and doesn't manage to get it once again. Instead, this time, Zuix managed to get the turnaround kill. That's a huge change. Bucci had a pretty good game last time, has now played 3 on the Renekton. First game didn't get anything started, and this is even worse than that. Not just getting something started, but actually falling down in this 1v1. As a Renekton, you really can't let that happen. Lightside, though, gonna turn it around in the bot lane and get themselves this initial Drake. Gonna be a Cloud, so the potential soul will be nice and interesting, we hope. Lionscreed, not going to be too unhappy about the way that this early game has worked out, but the fact that top lane's going well for Lionscreed and bot side is going better for Lightside. So far in this series, we have seen AD carries be the main threat that has really been able to turn the tides.
Yep. Pinkful does have the level 6 now. Pushed in that lane, wants to find something somewhere on the map, but nope, just going to recall instead. I thought he was going to roam bot. It did seem like a potential dive was being set up, but not enough mana or HP to really make anything happen, and Thresh is probably second lowest on the list of supports you want to dive, maybe next to Alistar. So, understandably, they have no desire to dive that.
I'm gonna be getting too aggressive on that one, otherwise it's pretty much a guaranteed death for you. I mean, yes, you can outplay it, but there's no real reason to threaten and put yourself in an uncomfortable position early on in this game. 1-for-1, gold pretty much even at this point in time. The scaling aspect is pretty interesting in this game, considering both teams have places where you're really going to want to go long. The Ashe can get pretty good into the late game. Malphite doing okay for themselves. But on the other side, still plenty of scaling there too. Teamfight's going to be fascinating. Can you land those big ultimates? As Bucci going in again, Zuix taking a lot of damage, but not going to die out on this one. Does still have the teleport, so can go back to base, use that to get back into lane. Bucci, though, managing to get that big chunk out onto Zuix is pretty big.
Yeah, forcing the teleport to be used. Wave crashing as well. Maybe could look to go to River to help the Rumble pick up the Scuttle Crab there, but now on the bottom side, Thresh is channeling that Hex Flash, goes forward, plays found. Panda's here for the gank as well. Lantern comes through. He doesn't. Oh, actually does take it. Finds the W as well in the midget, and that is a dead Aphelios. Very well played by Zuko and Panda there.
That's the way that you want to be putting down the hammer. Really good play out of Zuko to be able to land that Lantern and the hook. Just keep that play going through. Midget gonna die on that one. Zuix needs to be super careful here. If he steps up too far, EMP is just gonna be able to burn him down. Bucci keeps going.
A bit of a choke point. Now at EMP, gonna walk forward. Doesn't throw down the red carpet quite yet. Painful. Some trouble on their own. Has to flash away from the Lucian. And that is not good, especially against the Lucian, where he can just kind of follow your W if you try to run away. But now EMP going for this regank. Zuix not in the greatest spot here. Could find himself solo killed by the jungler. First E is gonna land. Second E avoided thanks to the ultimate, but that is a huge cooldown to go away now.
It really is. You do not want to be caught without that flash, and both of these teams have been getting pretty aggressive in the early stages of the game, not really finding anything particularly. No big advantages coming through just yet. Side gonna move towards this Herald. No real response. Panda has just gone back to base. This is a really different game, actually, out of Panda. He's been super impactful on those early skirmishes, usually finding a lot of ganks, finding kills for his team, getting them all ahead. This time around, hasn't really been able to do so. It's actually been EMP who's just been a little bit more active, even if he hasn't quite found those kills either. And keeping a Maokai honest can be pretty huge. If he's able to pop off and get the rest of the team going, that's a true win condition for Lionscreed. Shutting him down, though, is exactly what Lightside want to do.
It's a nice poke being thrown down by EMP there after picking up the Herald. Gonna recall it and probably head towards bot side, but speaking of, look at this. Panda might be in some trouble here. Throws down the death mark to try to find the output. What?
Oh.
Panda just flew across the lane twice.
Wow.
That was so unlucky, and Neil picks up the kill there. That was hilarious to watch, and very sad at the same time.
Oh boy, painful. Just about goes down in that one, and getting another big play onto the Zed, this time actually able to finish off that kill. That's what happens when you have to blow that flash in the earlier play. And Emil showing off why he is absolutely our best mid laner on AD carries, loves to pick them up. The Tristana constantly banned away from this man for good reason, but the Lucian being allowed through, showing why that one has also been hitting plenty of ban tables for other teams. You're able to pop off on this Lucian. It doesn't necessarily matter that you have quite a lot of AD damage on your team. If you just have more and you're ahead of the curve, that's when things are just fine. It's when you fall behind the amount of armor that your opposition are able to build that things can become pretty risky. So Lionscreed, they just have to keep finding themselves that aggression, and they're doing a decent job of it so far. Take a look at the gold leads as well. A huge CS difference right here for Spiky. It might just be the Ashe diff in this series.
Yeah, maybe that is the key here. If you pick Ashe, you win the game. Maybe a ban will come through next draft around, we'll have to see, but Lionscreed gonna try to push this wave in, maybe set something up, but it doesn't seem like Panda really has any engage opportunity here. Dr. Chaos, glaring vision, making sure nothing is being planned out. EMP here to back it up. Ocean Dragon on the table. Could look for a contest from either side here. Painful might be in some trouble. Throws the death mark down onto Panda. Red carpet comes through, but not at the best angle. But still, EMP picking up a kill. Nitchit does have a little bit of the white chakram, doing so much damage onto Emil and the ultimate to finish it off. But now, Speakgate picking up a kill onto EMP, looking for more with that ghost pop, but unfortunately nothing else to pick up. And although no dragon is started, 1-for-1 here, or 2-for-1, sorry, in favor of Lightside.
Much nicer play right there for Lightside. Were able to pick themselves up a good couple of kills. It was a brilliant hook off of Zuko just to be able to get anything back in the end for Lionscreed, but showing that the collapse from Lightside is still there, roaming around multiple members. As we'll take a look at this one again. It's an engage from Lionscreed onto Painful. Has to use the death mark early on, but just able to buy enough time for the rest of his team to arrive. Oh, it was the arrow onto the backline into the hook that meant that Lionscreed were able to pick themselves up a return kill, but Nitchit not getting too much damage laid down onto him and able to just shred through people with those red and white guns.
I mean, SPK once again finding absolute sniper shot with that crystal arrow. We'll have to see if we get a repeat of game 1 where you just can't miss, seems like, but maybe we'll see the first miss come through. Gucci does have some rage in his passive, but not a great amount of health. Does have EMP to back him up in case anything happens, but Zuix gonna take a recall. No, not gonna take a recall. Might even be caught by EMP in the jungle here if they do run into each other. EMP starts with the blue buff. Panda starting up the dragon, so should be an Ocean Dragon going over to the side of Lionscreed, but 12 minutes into the game, I mean, it's nice to have, but it's not huge.
Just stopping that Drake stacking coming through from Lightside is certainly more impactful. Gonna pop down this Rift Herald. Top lane is EMP. And with Zewix back to base, no teleport quite unlocked for him yet either. There's gonna be a massive amount of gold into Bucci's back pocket. Keeps on pressing forwards. Tower's now pretty low, and you're putting more gold into the places where you really need it. About 30 CS lead on this Renekton is good. Painful dodges out onto the hook. Does have the Death Mark and the Flash, so should have been able to get away from that one, even if the hook lands. Still though, nice to not have to blow anything, and the play does just fizzle out.
EMP now hovering around to make sure nothing else happens. But, well, now with Zuko joining, you never know what could happen, but looks like he just does want to go back bot lane. You know, I do want to talk about, as we go later on to this game, the scaling is kind of a weird scenario where you have people on both sides that don't do well in the later stages, but they have other tools to make up for it. On Lionscreed, the Lucian doesn't normally scale as hard as things like the Malphite does, and on the side of Lightside, you have the Renekton who, once again, not able to find any kills, but you do have the Rumble who can do so much damage with that equalizer. And
we've seen what Bucci is able to do even when behind in the game. Yeah, Hex flashing forwards. Arrow lands.
Into the hook and the arrow. EMP, meanwhile, stuck with the middle on the other side. Look at this. Nitchit is going to fall down. Dr. Chaos has to get out. EMP is going to pick up a kill, but a teleport's coming in. It's going to be 4 versus 1 as they're trying to find him, and they will. Flash W from Panda to lock down the kill. EMP trying to pick something up, but it's a shutdown over to Spike. That was a bit chaotic from Light. Oh, well, they're not gonna be able to find the Zed, but still, that was a bit chaotic from Lightside, and they had to pay the price.
Bucci gonna be able to take down this turret in the top lane, but that was a huge injection of gold once again into Spikey. 4-0-0 at this point in the game. Once again, going towards that Triforce build, has got that Kraken Slayer already completed. We'll see what he's able to buy with that gold on this base. Right now, man, gonna be in a super strong position. 30 CS up as well. And it was off of an initial engage play out of Lightside. They wanted to go in because they had EMP up in the backline, but Panda was in the area, as was Emil, and you're able to just get more aggression from Lionscreed, more members in the fight. Once again, seeing the fact that it's just impossible to kite away from an Ashe. If you're able to get that first slow down from the passive, at that point you can't walk away and you're locked into a team fight. Dr. Chaos on the death end of that one. Lionscreed picking themselves up a Herald right here too. It looked like it was going well for Lightside, but Lionscreed managed to pull themselves back into this game. Should be back to even in terms of gold.
Yep. Now Bucci in the bottom side of the map wants to get some more turrets into his pocket. EMP does find Zewix in a rough spot. Half of his health gone in just that moment. Unfortunately, what happens when you do dedicate your build to the armor early on, the things like the Rumble was absolutely no. Painful and Dr. Chaos on the side here want to try to follow up on this equalizer, but not very good on the engage, unfortunately. So they do get the Herald charge, but they are able to prevent anything else.
Equalizer goes down mainly to try to make sure Lionscreed backed off. There was a potential for an engage there, but that was immediately mitigated by the Nature's Grasp out of Panda. Everybody just going to have to back off again. Painful up towards this top side of the map under a pretty low turret with multiple Lionscreed members in the area. There's a potential for a dive. Zed, a pretty difficult champion to do so on. Instead, just going to back off. Emil looking to keep his pressure up in this side lane. Has had a decent time of it so far. No real explosive plays, but has kept this Zed pretty in check. You know, hasn't been able to really pop off. Which is exactly what you want. If a Zed is able to get a couple of early kills, especially in lane, all of a sudden you're in a terrible position as both Emil or Spikey, because you can just get the death mark slapped down on your head. There's nothing really that you can do. As it stands, everybody on Lionscreed feeling pretty comfortable even with the Zed in the game, but these team fights have really been back and forth, more on individual execution than team composition differences, which is what we saw for the first 2 games.
It's always nice to see that. It always is a little bit of a frustrating question mark where it's like, yeah, you know, both teams played well, but the draft was the difference. What could have happened if the draft was better? But it's not at all the case this time. Anytime there's a big play going on and a team does well, it's because of the players individually, not because of their composition, though. I do want to say that Lionscreed have been playing their comp fairly well so far in all these games. The picks have been so good, and Now they're looking for another one here. Zuko could try to find the hook and will find the mark. Emil over on the other side. Gonna be able to finish that one off. Ultimate throwdown as well. Why not? Spike picking up that kill. Painful is gonna get hit by that sapling, but not a whole lot of danger, but still another fantastic pick from Lionscreed.
Lionscreed, they are ahead of the curve. They have more AD damage than Lightside have armor right now, able to just shred through Dr. Chaos, who at this point in the game is not particularly tanky. Going to be able to turn this one around as well and pick up another Drake. 2 in the bank for Lionscreed, 1 for Lightside. We're still a while away from getting towards that Soul. Soul Point, though, is available for them next time around, and another turret too means that this is a huge injection of gold for Lionscreed. Gonna get themselves finally to an ahead position. They've been floating just behind Lightside for quite a while. Now they are ahead in gold, and look at the vision that is just around this bottom side of the map. There is so much there for Lionscreed, and it means making picks like that can be pretty easy, whereas Lightside, they don't really have any beyond a couple of wards towards the top side of the map. Most of their own jungle is completely dark, and all of the opposition jungle is.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier before the pick happened with the Thresh. Yeah, the vision has been fantastic from Lionscreed this entire match in general. Vision control has been a big aspect of why they've been doing well in the first game and this game. And looking to continue that streak, trying to keep Lightside as blind as possible. But as we see there, finally Lightside getting some vision down deep in the enemy jungle. Emil farming this top side. Not a whole lot of exciting things going on, but maybe soon. With the Dragon coming up in about 4 minutes, Baron gonna be on the table, but I think it's another one of those games where just they don't have enough burst to clear the Baron before the other team can come over to contest it.
Gonna be pretty difficult to just try to steal this one away. Lionscreed in a little bit of a better position to be able to just nick this one out from under Lightside's noses if they do want to, but still looking to get a pick to be able to turn that one into a potential Baron. And with Baron spawned, now focus has to be more towards the top side of the map. This top lane tier 1 still alive. For Lightside is problems for Lionscreed. They're going to look to chunk this one out, and Painful gonna have to just turn tail and run here. No, instead gonna stay. Gets more and more risky though. The second wave crashing through. Turret will be picked up right here for Lionscreed. It's now going to be their 3rd of the game. Both of these teams, though, had a decent time of taking out these outer tier turrets. A real problem right here for Lightside, though. Oh, hang on. Chaos.
Oh, look at that. And fantastic pick by Lionscreed, but I think Dr. Chaos should be able to get out just fine. A bit too tanky for them to make anything happen. And now Painful pops the coat, or... Wait, no, it doesn't even have the ghost blade. What's the animation that I saw? I think it was just the animation from Dr. Chaos. But still, looked for the engage there. Couldn't quite find anything. That actually has me wondering, what mythic is the Zed gonna go with this time? Probably the Duskblade.
You would expect for it to be the Duskblade. You do sometimes see them go for other pickups, but really the Duskblade is going to give you the most real power in this game. Just the ability to dodge away from CC, be untargetable for a couple of seconds, means that you're less likely to just go in, get a kill, and immediately die to somebody else. Live to fight another day, keep yourself in the game for as long as possible. Going for a very standard build at the moment, so is everybody else. There's no real deviations from the norm right now. Everything that we're seeing picked up, pretty much what we would have been expecting. First items completed for everybody in this game. Second items will be coming through pretty soon. And right now, Spiky and Emil pretty accelerated. Especially Spiky, he's in such strong position, has yet to die right now, which is pretty difficult to do on an Ashe. Sure, she's great at kiting, but you have to do it perfectly with no real ability to just jump away. She's super immobile, super squishy. You're helped out a little bit by having that lantern. Same time though, a lot of props to Spiky just for positioning correctly and keeping himself in a position where you can keep laying down the damage and not be threatened on the backline, especially in a game where there's a Zed.
And you would expect on the note of the Zed, maybe a bit more pressure to try to find some picks, but it's just so hard to do against the side of Lionscreed. So much potential counter engage. Even if you can find a 1v1 situation, it's only a matter of time before it becomes 1v3. Zuko just trying to see where Lightside are in general with this Dragon coming up in about 54 seconds. And it is Infernal, one of the most contested ones, so understandably wants to try to figure out where Lightside are, but once again, look at the vision. I mean, we're seeing it here thanks to our observers. You're talking about how great of control Lionscreed had, but now the script is completely flipped. They are completely blind right now.
They're going to be walking into a very risky position. At the same time, though, Lightside not particularly bunched up, ready to get back involved. Teleport will be blown by Painful just to get back into the lane. Does come back with the Dust Blade, so that answers our question of what the mythic choice was going to be. The Zed all of a sudden is pretty terrifying, especially if you are Spiky or Emil. Need to be careful to not get too close to him, although... Oh.
Ooh, that
Baron
crystal
misses.
arrow was close. But now, Dragon gonna be spawning. That is a great camera shot, by the way. But nonetheless, Bucci does find Zivix here on the side, but maybe a bit too tanky to dedicate to a real fight. Emil gonna try to find something with the ultimate here.
Oh,
Chaos
Chaos.
does take a lot of damage, but no real threat quite yet. What is this burst damage? Wait a minute, Emil just deleted Nitchin off the map. Now they're
Oh, the Nature's Grasp!
forward. The Nature's Grasp is hitting a lot there, and then the ultimate from Zewix. The engagers are so great. Painful trying to find something here, does get one kill, and then now Bucci in the backline does find the Ash. Maybe Lightside can turn this one around, actually. Painful putting in a lot of work on the Zed, flashes forward, W as well. Bucci picking up that kill, and now what looked like a dire situation for Lightside could turn into a dragon.
Indeed it will. That's multiple dead members for Lionscreed. Only Nitchit is going to go down off of the just ridiculous burst out of Emil. The team fight was messy and it was split. The beginning stages went very well for Lionscreed. But that's why Painful went back to base and bought himself that Dust Blade. We are going to have to watch Nitchit at the initial stages of the fight just explode, and then it's a pretty good Nature's Grasp, but it's quite far away. Zewix and Zuko are having to run up from miles away to try to get involved, and then watch Painful. Goes in, looks like he's a little bit too far forwards, but is not. Emil just going to get bursted out. All of a sudden, you can't target onto Painful at all because of that Dust Blade. Manages to pick up a second kill, and that's both of your big carries dead. Now, all you've got left is a Maokai, a Malphite, and a Thresh. They can deal a little bit of damage, but nowhere near enough. You just have to turn tail and run. Zuko goes down right at the end. And a Drake into the back pockets of Lightside. It's now 2 apiece. Next one will be a Soul point to fight over, and it's a very delayed Soul. I don't know if we'll even get to that point. Baron's still available. Nobody's really gone for it yet.
Yeah, it would be surprising if the game went long enough for there to be a Soul. You know what I just thought about? We haven't had any Elder Dragons this game, I don't think. I think every game has pretty much ended soon after the Soul. Ooh. I'm sure Nitchit saw his life flash before his eyes, but luckily the arrow is able to be avoided. Lionscreed still walking into Lightside jungle, trying to find a pick of some kind, trying to get some vision control for this Baron that is up. Oh, look at this though. Zuko does find a hook, but no follow-up, unfortunately, available. Now Dr. Chaos wants to find an engage of his own. Equalizer going to cut off the escape path of Zuko as they pick up a kill onto Emil. Zuko throws down the ultimate, trying to get away, and we do have Panda and CK coming up. Hook comes through, is able to find the mark, but no follow-up. It's just too dangerous. And now, without their mid laner, it seems like Lightside thinks Lionscreed are incapable of contesting this Baron. Teleports are up for those 2 top laners in the side lane. The Malphite's going to be the first to teleport, and now it's a quick follow-up from Bucci, who is
Bucci in the backside.
Not a great spot, but now it's looking pretty good with the team split up.
So low.
Lionscreed could be in some damage. Look at this, the Baron solo 1k, and it is secured by Bucci in the backside, causing so many problems. And this is gonna go down anytime soon. He's still alive somehow, but does eventually go down. A kill going over to Ash. A big shutdown too. Crystal Arrow behind the mark. Painful gets away. Nidget able to get the recall off, and now Lightside just gonna go back to farming. But still, although they got the Baron, they did lose 2 members in the process.
Bucci, MVP in that fight, despite the fact that wasn't able to get any kills for himself, just in the backline, stopping the follow-up, because Zewix goes flying in, manages to land a 3-man knock-up on top of the Baron, is trying to hit onto the Baron, maybe get a kill. It ends up going down to EMP, does get to smite it away, and if the rest of the follow-up is there from Lionscreed, if they're able to get into the pit too, then that is a complete disaster for Lightside. Off of what was a great pick onto Emil, they would have lost everything. Instead, Bucci in the backline teleports in and just stops there being any follow-up. Panda can't get in with the smite. Spiky and Zuko are just caught up, not able to get involved and put down any of that damage that this Ashe can lay down. 3-item Ashe gonna be able to shred people, but not if you're just sat there trying to deal damage to Bucci and failing to do so. ton of healing on this man already, even though he's gone for that Stride Breaker rather than Gore Drinker build.
We have kind of been talking about how the Renekton in lane isn't fighting the kills but he wants, but as you have said several times, Bucci always able to find a way to make himself useful even if he doesn't have all that gold funneled into him for the mid game. Now Lionscreed trying to push this one out. That is unfortunate.
Okay.
Hopefully Lionscreed did not see that, because if they know that equalizer is down, they can have a lot easier of a time forcing these fights. We'll have to see. Turret does go down. Lightside, understandably, don't want to contest it now that they have lost that crucial ultimate, and that unfortunately was tragic, but not the end of the world. Dragon up in 50 seconds. I think the ultimate should be back up by then.
Need to be watching Bucci in the backline, see what he can do. Same thing with Zeuix. And then these main carries for Lionscreed. Are they able to just sit there and lay down the damage? Or is it painful into the backline, getting an initial kill and making things difficult for them? Super back and forth team fights so far. A lot of vision for both of these teams in the opposition's jungle. Gonna need to be cleared out. 30 seconds. Neither team has made their way into the pit. This is pretty late for both of these teams to be making their way through. Mid lane push is gained for Lightside, and with the Baron, gonna have a successful time taking control of this mid lane. Can make walking into these team fights that much harder. 15 seconds now. Teleport way back for Bucci.
The teleport flank from Painful.
Sorry.
Very creative. Wants to try to find something. No Malphite's in the brush there, but now
don't
he's
see him,
spotted
now
out.
they do.
Might be in some trouble. But they are not too worried about him quite yet. Throwing out the Q poke with the Shadow. Now Dragon is down, but on the side here, Zeuix has found Dr. Chaos, who gets hooked as well, but is still able to survive for the time being. Lionscreed gonna walk their way out of River just to clear that mid wave, make sure that doesn't become a problem. Painful still on the side, still poking. Emil finally coming over to try to deal with them. Dragon hasn't started. 3k health, it's going down so quickly, and it's gonna go over to Lightside. Now the follow-up fight could be here. Zeuix on the side trying to find something, and Painful also still on this flank. Very great equalizer there to split up the fight. Nice Nature's Grasp, but will it be enough to make a difference? Dr. Chaos on the side here doing so much for Nidget. Oh, gets a huge ultimate! On the other side, SPK trying to kite, trying to find a way to find Bucci. He does. EMP now, trying to run for his life. Zeuix on the side, trying to find Nidget. Could fall down here, but nope, that is a dead rock. It's slipping for now. Death Mark does go down on the side here for Painful on the Panda, who does take a lot of damage from it. Nidget able to pick up the kill on the side. SPK able to pick up a kill on the side. Dr. Chaos falls down. Painful running for his life. Panda gets the W to bring him back. And it's a triple kill for SPK. Lionscreed might look to push this mid lane. Nidget, the only member of Lightside remaining.
What a messy and split fight. Hope we can have a replay of that one, because it went back and forth, straight into the replay we go. So the Drake goes down initially. EMP manages to collect that one. This ultimate right here out of EMP to split the team fight is pretty huge. And into the back line goes Nidget to just immediately blow up Emil. That's massive. Emil has been dealing so much damage in this game. But just watch Spiky. Manages to get that initial kill onto Bucci and then just runs down EMP here. The rest of the team are going back and forth. Zeuix buying some time, keeping himself alive. Whereas Spiky just constantly moving his way down, picks up that kill, then gets the lantern to move back, and just, you can't run away from an Ashe. Once you get that initial bit of CC down, initial auto attack, you can't run away. Triple kill right there, and turns around what was a very dicey situation for Lionscreed. The team's super back and forth in this third game. Winner goes on to match point, and loser has to win 2 games in a row, something so far these teams have shown is no easy feat.
Yeah, Lionscreed looks like they want to potentially go for this Baron when it spawns. 30 seconds left on that one. They're getting the vision control down. Meanwhile, Lightside just playing it slow in this mid lane. Don't want to get caught out. Don't have a lot of vision at the moment. Oh, look at that arrow. Almost found Bucci, but he's able to avoid it at the last second now. And joining the fight does have that death cap in his pocket, along with the demonic embrace. Gonna be doing a lot of damage to... Yeah, he's gonna be doing damage to everybody. Doesn't matter if you're tanky, squishy, he's gonna hurt. And that is such a big factor. That equalizer, if you can get it in the right spot, you can just melt everybody on the side of Lionscreed. But They've been doing a decent job so far of playing around it. Lightside just clearing out this mid wave. They're just tangoing around this Baron. Lionscreed looking like they maybe want to dedicate and start it, and they do. Spike lands a couple of autos and let's start it, but backs off, and now they're trying to, you know, entice Lightside into coming into this river. But look at Zewix on the side here, has a fantastic flank, and now Dr. Chaos might be in trouble. All of the members trying to follow up with the hook that's not finding his spot. An arrow on the Bucci, and then the Equalizer to try to get him to go away, and Neil does have to catch Neil as a result. But look at this huge knockup from Zewix. Midget in the back has to try to make something happen. He looks like it's one kill. Maybe we'll make something happen. Look at this. Another sniper shot lands, and Lightside, despite a rough start, not only win the fight, they want to win the game. Look at the teleports.
Big, long death timers for all of Lionscreed, 40-something seconds. It's going to be close right here. Plenty of damage onto these turrets. Should be able to close this one out. And you highlighted it. You highlighted that equalizer for EMP, and it was the game decider. Went down into the backline. Everybody had to scatter from Lionscreed. They're going to be able to run down this one and pick up their second victory in this game. 20 seconds until anybody spawns. 9 seconds on Panda.
See, Panda up 5 seconds, but I think that's just the end. The Lightside started off with no kills, and now all of a sudden they're at match point 2-1 going into game 4. I mean, that was just another fantastic game out of these two teams. I said it earlier, I've said it so many times, we've both been saying it. I really want that 5-game series, but it seems like every game they play, Lightside just keeps getting better and better and better. And we talked about momentum. We talked about how Lionscreed had the momentum coming into it, but now Lightside seems that it's in their favor now.
Huge plays out of pretty much everybody in that game. Everybody had a standout performance in that one. There are a couple moments, though, where Lionscreed, they went for a play and people just got ahead of themselves. You know, they have that lantern to try to keep somebody, get them back into a team fight if you end up lagging behind, but there are a couple moments where they just were out of sync. That last team fight, all grouped up in a choke point versus a rumble with equalizer. It went about as predictably as, If you know how League of Legends works, you know how that team fight went. You all had to scatter as Lionscreed. Couldn't stand on top of that equalizer or you were just going to die. You also ended up with the Zed going into the backline, picks up that kill onto Spikey, who until that point had been kiting really effectively, keeping himself out of harm's way. That team fight just wasn't able to do so, and the healing, the damage, everything worked out in one big team fight, meaning Lightside pick themselves up the victory, take us to match point. One more win from Lightside, and they would have honestly one of the most impressive turnarounds I've ever seen from a team, because game 1, straight up bad. Game 2 and game 3, though, way better, really back and forth, but with just nice, collected, calm team fight plays out of Lightside.
Yeah, Lightside as a whole cohesive unit have been playing so well. We're not phased whatsoever by that game 1, won the next 2 games. We'll see if they're going to close out this match or if Lionscreed are going to take us to game 5. We'll find out in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this banger series. We're going to see how it concludes after we come back from this break.
Now crashing towards the last Nexus turret. Emperor has been found. They are committing quite a lot to getting him, though, and he is able to get out and away from this one. Thorn taking a bit of damage. Cutlight has to flash, but the damage is far too much. The plasma will proc and turn the Ornn to dust. Thorn goes in and goes golden, but there's no follow-up at all. That's a double kill for Tomasco. Kurot will be able to find Emperor, but it is nowhere for 42 to hide as Tomasco gets a quadra kill to close out the game.
Painful running up, trying to find something. As look at this, Bucci on the flank. Flash from Dr. Chaos is going to find the double knockup. Teleport going to be coming in. We'll see what they can do here. Fight's going through. Nice ultimate from the Amumu. Painful's able to pick up a kill. Double kill for him. Make it a triple as they just wipe the board. Quadra kill. Will we see the penta from Painful? You have to give it to him. There it is. Penta kill for Painful on his Zed. I mean, as far as invulnerables go, so that mountain would do very well in their pocket.
Emperor
But unfortunately, yep, gotta find the easy kill on the Emperor.
I mean, he said hola. Actually, no, wait. What's
he said adios
in Spanish? Adios.
Yeah, he's sitting in the mist, trying to find something. 3k health now. Engage tools being used by everybody, as now the Zaya trying to It's too much. Lucky Vince in the back here, trying to make something happen, trying to survive, but it's just not enough.
Be sole point. Otherwise, everybody does have their flashes up and available. These carries are going to be hard to get onto.
Oh, okay, wait, they missed the unstoppable force. Now they don't have anything else to engage with.
You are in trouble!
And Malishka with the picture perfect Nico ultimate. Everybody's going down. Now has the freedom to walk in. You may call your blades, but Cut Light will be called to the dead, and so will you, Rudy Fresh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what has been such an exciting series. We are at match point finally, as Lightside has picked up a little bit of not quite a reverse sweep, but a mini reverse sweep, lost the first game in some not so spectacular fashion, but now have mounted quite the comeback to bring us to a 2-1.
Really impressive performance right here out of Lightside. At beginnings of this series, yeah, it didn't go so well, but you can put that one pretty far out of your mind. Clearly things were just not quite set up for them at this point. Everything right here is on Lionscreed's shoulders. You win that first game in such dominant fashion, and then the next two have been super back and forth, but just not winning out because the team fight rotation has been better right now out of Lightside. Every single team fight, it feels like there's just one extra member for Lightside there, or there's just a slightly better placed ultimate going down. A couple of plays where Lightside were just out of reach of Lionscreed. Somebody went flying forwards and you couldn't really get there. Bucci has now played 3 games on the bounce on this Renekton and has been an absolute menace in the backline. Sure, he hasn't been finding those solo kills, but it hasn't mattered because he gets into the backline and just stops the damage from being laid down by the members of Lionscreed, and the rest of the team's able to kill out on that frontline Malphite that we've been seeing and then turn on the rest of the team. Lightside, they just need to keep doing what they've been doing. Lionscreed, I think the onus is on them at this point to change things up, potentially by banning out that Renekton to start.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this in my life, but the late game Renekton has been the MVP, and I gotta agree with you. I think it does need to be banned out. It's been working way too well for Bucci. You gotta force him on to something else.
Sorry, late game Renekton.
I know, like, I thought I'd never say that in my life. I never. But still, the Renekton has been a menace in these last.
It has been.
Yeah, in the last stages of the game, both of these times, and they have to get him off something else. It's like the idea that Lightside had, where they wanted to take the Braum away, force the comfort away, and now maybe the opposite or the approach needs to be taken by the opposite team.
Absolutely. Just need to take away one potential point from this Lightside composition and make sure they have to change things around. Lionscreed, they've shown real potential in a lot of these team fights. Some just pop-off plays from Spiky. Just hasn't quite been able to carry the entire team across the line. That was a full AD pretty much composition out of Lionscreed. And it didn't work out in the end, but we're still doing okay during the early stages. Something that we highlighted during the beginnings of this series, before we'd seen any gameplay, was the mid-jungle duo that we were expecting to see between Panda and Emil. And it hasn't really materialized. It hasn't happened.
We talked about their mid-jungle duo. It seems like Lightside's mid-jungle duo has been the highlight. I mean, that Rumble Zed duo was absolutely monstrous. It's just, we talked about the equalizer in that last fight. It just completely flipped the switch. And then in the last 2 or 3 fights, the Zed was popping off every single time. Hopefully, I mean, there's just a lot of things that they gotta ban away. They have to ban away the Zed, the Malphite, 2 picks that I think need to be taken away.
Quite possibly. The Zed, I'm back and forth on. The Malphite just keeps popping up right here for Lionscreed. The Maokai too. Lionscreed just playing that one again and again. They like to have that tanky top and jungle. And we see that quite a lot out of these players, mainly because right now Zewix is getting banned out massively during the draft phase. He actually likes to play quite aggressive picks. The Jax has been seeing the ban table again and again. That's a pick he's really good on, but just not being allowed to pull that out. Will it be blue side for Lionscreed again? They've played the first 3 games on blue side. The red side counter picks have mainly been reserved for the mid lane. Over on the side of Lightside. Will that get changed up this time? Because that could really change the face of the drafts. We've been seeing the same kind of thing back and forth throughout this game. Another question I have for this draft is what happens with the Ashe? Because we've seen massive success on it for both of these teams. Even in the loss just now, Spiky looked great on it. Do you continue to let that one through? And it will be a red side for Lightside. Sorry, a blue side for red side.
Sharpening my feathers.
I was surprised to see the slides swap. I was like, wait, hold on, is Lionscreed banning behind the blue? But no, Lightside gonna be taking the blue side this time. I think maybe this could be the direction Lionscreed want to go. If they want to take away this momentum, you gotta throw Lightside into situations they haven't been comfortable on this series. Haven't had a chance to draft some blue side, and well, they said red or blue, it doesn't matter, we're taking the rail first.
Yeah, whatever happens at this point, Lightside, they want that role. The fact you can flex it around between the jungle and the support is just huge. And we've seen both EMP and Dr. Chaos have pretty good performances on it so far. Dr. Chaos specifically has been popping off on that one. Some of those Magnet Storms have been absolutely huge. And sure, he got caught out a little bit throughout the last game, but when it really counted, you have to find those big plays. It will be that Ashe pickup. As Lightside, you have to expect that it was going to be. So Lionscreed even first picked it blue side last time around, so they clearly have a lot of priority on it. The Braum has been banned. We've seen it paired alongside a couple of things, the Nautiluses, the Threshers. Going to be a Viego pickup, so really changing the script. We wanted something different out of Lionscreed, and it will be different. They're going to take a Viego, a lot more aggressive than the Maokai in the jungle. Does leave that one open potentially for EMP to take away.
Yeah, Viego is an interesting pick here. It's kind of like the Jinx, where there's the factor of him getting reset after reset in the fights, and it could prove problematic. But Gasante picked up here in the top lane for Bucci. That's what I've been seeing him play a lot of this year. So although they banned away the Renekton, he still gets a comfort pick at the end of the day.
and happy to pick up this Aphelios once again for Nitchit. Had a decent performance on it. The Cassante is exactly what I was expecting, because Renekton was the pick he was playing because he didn't have the Cassante. We saw a ton of Cassante play throughout the rest of the playoffs for Bucci. Now that you take away that Renekton, you can pick yourself up that Cassante, and I'd say you're even more impactful. You have better plays that you can make with this champion. The all-out is absolutely insane. Zwix, this is something he's been playing quite a lot, both in solo queue and in games, and it's a pretty back-and-forth matchup you can see versus Bucci. This top lane might be a lot more explosive than we've been seeing it so far, and that's saying something considering there was a Renekton up there.
Yeah, this is gonna, I mean, the top lane has been so bloody so far these first few games. Although Bucci hasn't always been able to find the kills, there have always been fights going on. And now with this matchup of Set versus Cassante, bound to get even more violent. Nico gonna be taken away by Lionscreed. Lightside, gonna take away the Nautilus. Trying to deny some synergy here for the Ashe. Hopefully we will see Braum be... Oh wait, Braum was already banned. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Braum already gone.
I wonder what support pick they're gonna... Or ban, I should say, they're gonna go with next.
Need to still take away some mid laners. Neither team has showed theirs off so far. Having that Tristana banned Lucian still potentially available for Lionscreed, it would be pretty hard pressed to play another full AD composition. You really want some AP to balance out this combo. I could see the Syndra being worthwhile picking up again for Lionscreed, but to wait and see what this final couple of picks will be. We still need a support and a mid laner. You'd usually want to give that counter pick over to your mid lane, so expecting to see a support alongside this Ashe. The Thresh was decent. Zuko had a couple of really good hooks and a couple of really nice lanterns to be able to get some early kills. That should be mid lane. I was slightly worried that was going to be another support Lissandra, but that's Dr. Chaos that plays it, not Zuko.
Yeah, so Bel'Veth could be interesting. Usually play jungle, but can also be flex support in some scenarios, though. Aphelios, not sure how well that would work with him in particular. We'll have to see, but Bel'Veth would be such an interesting pick. That would be a ton of scaling in Lightside's pocket. Oh, and instead it's the Ziggs.
Gonna be the Ziggs. You can understand why you want to take a Ziggs right here into the Lissandra. It keeps you pretty far away from this Lissandra, who can be absolutely terrifying. Lionscreed, though, it does now mean that they've got themselves a composition that just wants to get that initial reset for the Viego for the Lissandra. And then the Ashe has plenty of sniper abilities to do so. Lightside still do need themselves either a jungle or a support. Rel does perfectly well with the Aphelios, and it will be this Ivan. To be fair, I have seen Dr. Chaos play that in support, I think, at some point, but it's gonna be it's a jungle. It's fine. It's not gonna be weird, I believe.
I believe too. Plus, the Ivan jungle would be very nice. Viego can normally sometimes look for invades, but against this comp in particular, you have to be careful. There's a lot of potential map movement in between the Ziggs and the Rel, so you need to be careful there. Last pick is reserved for the support, and they do pick up the Rakan for some more engage in their pocket. So you do have some nice engage alongside the Lissandra and the Rakan, but I mean, Lightside, this comp that they have drafted, usually we say Lionscreed comp looks scary, but now it seems like they have the terrifying presence this time.
Lightside, if they're able to get a couple of early advantages, can just wreck this game through the Ziggs. Ziggs has the ability with that satchel charge to just blow up a turret, execute it down from a ton of health, and it can just lead to losing map pressure after map pressure after map pressure, and make games really difficult to play around. Lionscreed, though, they do have plenty to play for. Ashe and Rakan means that you can jump on top of people and it's super difficult to run away. It's already difficult to run away from an Ashe, nigh on impossible. Rakan, plenty of follow-up too with that grand entrance. Just makes it that much more difficult. It can be said, though, for an Aphelios and Rel, if you can actually land that crash down as Dr. Chaos, it can make it incredibly difficult to get away. Back and forths potentially in this bot lane. Mid lane, both of these guys would like to find those solo kills in the mid lane, or potentially just turn it into fights around the rest of the map. And top lane, it's just two dudes bashing each other's skulls in. That's all you really get out of this matchup. It can result in solo kills, but more than that, I'm watching for the big team fight plays.
Yeah, I mean, this top line is going to be exciting to see. This whole game in general is exciting to see. All these drafts have been very interesting, but I do feel like this one, out of all of them, is the most enticing. I mean, this could go either direction with how this has been drafted. I'm really excited to get into this. This could be the last game. If Lightside pick it up, they want to close this one out, want to get that rematch against Munster, and we'll see if they can secure it. Game 4 could be the end, as Mountain is the first dragon to start us off.
Alrighty. Can Lightside put themselves in a position to go back up for round 2 versus Munster? They've had a pretty tumultuous time during the playoffs so far, but... Oh, painful. Be careful, buddy.
Painful. Oh, that's not the way you want to walk either. Is going to get flashed on, but the satchel, level 1, just going to get him away. Burns Zubix's flash in the process.
I mean, taking satchel level 1 is, it's not exactly what you would be wanting to do, but at the same time, Painful just about survives, and that is 2 big flashes blown. Zewix flashes for that one, as does Zuko, and you don't even have to blow the flash as Painful. Level 1 is going to be in Emil's pocket because of that E-start, but you're still perfectly happy with that one. Oh, that was so risky for Painful.
The Observer just pointed something out that I am a big fan of myself. The Mana Crystal start for Painful wants to be able to get that Lost Chapter as soon as possible to just make this lane as annoying as can be against the Lysandra. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to prevent the Lysandra from pushing you in so she can't roam.
Once Lysandra manages to unlock themselves onto the map and roam around, you're just in a position where it's so difficult to make any plays on the side lanes, but that's why you pick the Ziggs into this Lysandra, because as soon as you leave your lane as this Lysandra, the Ziggs will just take your turret, just gone. And that's something you cannot allow to happen, because once you allow this Ziggs to just move around the rest of the map, it is pretty much game over. And thank you, production, for highlighting something else. Not only is it a Sapphire start, you're also going to have Future's Mask Kit on Painful, so he's looking to pick himself up that item as soon as possible.
Yeah, I do this all the time, personally. The Mana Crystal start into
Sorry,
the first...
you're a Ziggs player?
No. I do it on Rise. I do not play Ziggs, thankfully, but...
Okay.
No, I love the Mana Crystal start, getting it just enough for that for that buy, and then recalling, coming back. It is so nice. You never run out of mana in the game, and as a Rise, I mean, that's obviously what you want. You never want to run out of being able to throw spells, EQ all day. But Dr. Chaos, just finding that nice stun, getting back, and probably won't be too eventful, but I take that back already, because Panda is going for the invade here early, hasn't been spotted out yet. This would be very problematic for Ivern losing the Raptors here.
Oh, he's going to lose more than that, potentially, if Panda doesn't just walk away. You can see Ivern is top lane, going to look for a potential gank right here onto Zewix, who is pretty low. Doesn't have the flash because of that level 1 play.
Zewix now, no flash, is in trouble here. Bucci not able to find the knockup, but Zewix is unfortunately running the wrong direction as a result of dodging that, and First Blood does go over to the Ivern. But yeah, now Panda is going to be able to fully clear EMP's bottom side of the map, and that is huge for him.
It is crucial right there that EMP was able to pick up that kill, because if he hadn't have done, he'd been behind so much gold when compared to Panda. Panda knows that the way Ivern works is that you have to mark all your camps and then wait for a while before you can come back and take them, unless you have Smite, in which case you can take them immediately. Leaves those camps available for the taking. Panda is now looking for a potential gank bot lane, doesn't go for it in the end. That means you do lose out on a huge amount of camps as EMP, but still the 400 gold for that First Blood is pretty nice.
Yep, and not only did Panda take the entire bottom side of EMP's jungle, but he takes the bottom scuttle as well. So a lot of gold being pushed into his pocket. He hasn't even taken his blue buff yet, so we can just go blue buff to full clear and have so much gold in his pocket. But Lightside looking to get some gold of their own, trying to find a kill here, pushing the wave, but nice job by Zuko to freeze it in front of the tower, utilizing that passive. EMP does have Smite, so he's just going to walk up to Chicken, say hello, and then say goodbye.
That's where you have a very fast clear. It's interesting on Ivern. You either have a very fast clear if you have a Smite up, or you have a very slow clear if you don't. It leaves you pretty available to gank, or to counter invade, sorry. Looking for a gank top lane. Zewix now under turret. It's going to be a much harder ask to go for a dive on this one. However, Painful is roaming up. Pretty scary situation right here for Zewix.
Still no flash for the time being. Painful has joined the fight. They might be looking for a dive here. Still hidden by the brush. Now throws in the abilities. Knock up as well. Does have the
Haymaker.
he wants to use it. Haymaker not going to find any big damage. Does pull in Painful, but Painful just flashes away and the kill goes over to Bucci.
Had to go for that play onto Painful, loses out on his life because that flash still not up, and at this point, that flash that was blown out of Zewix in that initial play trying to get a kill onto Painful level 1 has cost him so dearly. He's now died twice, giving over a kill onto the Ivan and onto this Cassante. Pretty huge. Now Zewix once again being threatened. Diving him again would be a little bit too bold even for Lightside, but they are really feeling themselves. 2 quick kills. The response will be a Lionscreed Drake at least. Still, Lionscreed need to find a way to get a couple of kills before this game begins to slip out of their grasp.
Yeah, usually it's Lionscreed that are pushing the tempo early on, but this time Lightside. We even talked about how the Lissandra can roam around the map and be quite the presence, but it's the Ziggs this time being a presence in the top side of the map, even poking Panda a little bit as he takes Ivan's Raptors. But yeah, the Lionscreed do need to look for a way to get back into this one before it slips away from them. Lightside scaling is so good this game, and it's not a good sign that they're already not phenomenally ahead. It's not even a 1k gold lead, but they are ahead.
They managed to find kills in a really impactful lane. Zewix has been having a back and forth series so far. A couple of the Malphite ults have been huge, a couple of times just hasn't had the follow-up from the rest of the team to actually be able to get anything done. Bucci, same sort of story, except he's just been more useful in the backline of team fights so far, and Cassante is a great champion to do that. Both of these characters do just want to get into the backline, try to beat somebody up. If you're ahead though, that is everything. You'll see Bucci already dealing a decent amount of damage to Zewix. Back and forth, just going to jump away from that Haymaker as well. The dashes just make this Cassante character a little bit more impactful, I'd say, than a set.
A little bit of a meat there in the jungle, but it is Panda that picks up the smite. That is a bit of an advantage. Actually, I'm going to pause that point because Chaos, nope, not going to be able to find the stun. But yeah, it is kind of the advantage that you have against the Ivan, although when smite is up, actually pausing yet again because look at this, goes right
oh my god,
sets up the kill for his jungler. Oh my goodness, that was impressive. Because now Panda is cosplaying as Cassante for a little bit, but just going to push this wave in while his top laner gets a recall. That was a beautiful inset from Zewix.
Had to go in at that exact moment, did Panda, to keep Zewix alive. Was super low health. Bucci, though, just doesn't know that the jungler is there. Ends up getting taken out. And he finally managed to get a kill back into Zewix's pocket. Take a look at this play once again. It's just harsh trading back and forth. Bucci knows that he's in the advantage right now. A little bit of extra gold, has got those more kills. Even manages to pull Zewix under the turret. Haymaker has to be perfect, but it's Panda who's just lurking in the backline. He manages to get involved in that kill just about. You can see EMP was in the area, not quite able to get to the top lane to finally take that one down. Oh, Bucci's got to be feeling pretty annoyed at that one for not managing to pick up that kill, even after getting Zewix under the turret.
Bit of an unfortunate event, but it was still very well played from the side of Lionscreed. Dr. Chaos wasn't able to find the stun there. I really thought it's always hard to tell when the stun's gonna hit or not. I thought that one was gonna hit, but not able to find the mark. Panda lurking nearby, but no real opportunity there for him. They're gonna look at this Herald, dedicating 3 members to it, including the support. Looks like Nidget wants to take a recall, might look to walk that direction, but I think it'd be too late. Lionscreed pretty much have this one secured. No response from Lightside. Lionscreed just going to look to push in the rest of these lanes during this time. Bucci is here to watch them take it at least. But maybe, look at this, they're bending down. They want to try to cut them off on their escape, and now here they go, trying to execute this. Dr. Chaos hasn't used that speed up yet. Crystal Arrow barely misses, so no real danger from either side, but a very nice Herald pickup from Panda. Did have to use the ultimate to escape, but I mean, that's going to be up by the next fight after.
Pretty short cooldown on that one, picking up the Herald. Very important, and I can understand the idea from Lightside. You want to go for that pick potential, see if you can lock somebody down in some CC, but at the same time, you're against a Lissandra. and a Viego, and a Rakan. All of those champions have a dash that can take them over a wall, even if it is the ultimate for Panda. So you're going to be just fine in that situation. And Lionscreed keeping this game nice and close. 10 minutes into the game, we are pretty much sat at even. The kills relatively spread out as well, mainly focused towards the top side. The bottom side of the map has been very calm so far. We are still waiting on Painful managing to complete that first item. It'll be a pretty huge point for him, and he is well on the way.
Look at this though, Gate could be coming through. Emil follows up, holding onto the ultimate, thankfully. No entry there, unfortunately, but Painful does have teleport up in just a second, so we'll be able to get back and catch that crashing wave. Meanwhile, as I said, on the bot side, pretty slow, but still some leads being taken in the form of CS. Nice stun there to prevent Zuko from getting away, but once again, just not a whole lot of kill threat from either ADC quite yet. Maybe when they start picking up their first items, could change the story, but now Lionscreed hovering around this dragon in the mid lane, could look for either. Meanwhile, Emil... Actually, we did go in on that one.
Panda's here.
Help, but this could be bad for Emil using the ultimate on the Painful. But I think he's just gonna survive. Maybe not though. Crystal Arrow's not gonna find the mark. Panda picks up the kill. Now has his first reset. Could look for more. Uses the ultimate defensively in this case. Uchi is here. Didn't really find an angle to fight further though. So it is a kill going over to Lionscreed, but they're recalling. And maybe there's a dragon angle for Lightside. Teleport coming through, maybe kind of killing them.
Hello and welcome back into this series, Panda. He's really good on those engaged tanks. You know, the Maokais, the Sejuanis. But it is such a pleasure to watch Panda on one of these aggressive, more impactful champions like the Viego. Knows in that situation that he can go in for that kill, deals enough damage to be able to get that reset, to then get the targetability for a couple of seconds, the invulnerability to keep alive, and then manage to get away with the help of Zuko. Just so much confidence that Panda is playing with. He really does know the limits of this champion so well. The fact you're able to pick up that kill, that play is pretty huge considering it was that 2v3 until Zuko was able to get there. Gonna chuck down this Herald as well in the bottom side of the map. 4 members roaming down for Lightside, so this could turn into a brawl if there's an overstay from Lionscreed. This tower still pretty healthy, not going to be able to take it down with the Herald charge. Still though, 3 turret plates, 2 spiky, and going to be able to move towards this Drake.
Now, Lionscreed starting up this dragon. I don't think there's going to be any sort of contest from Lightside. Not too interested in contesting this Cloud Dragon, understandably, but now Lionscreed a lot closer to Soul Point. If it does end up being something like Infernal or Ocean, that could be very problematic. And it is going to be, I think, either Hextech or Chemtech. We'll see. It is the Chem Plants. And we've talked about this before. It's the least exciting of the souls, but it does give us some pretty cool plants to play around.
I really enjoy what it does to the map, and at the same time, you know, a little bit of extra tenacity. It's not the end of the world, plenty of CC to be trying to avoid. Lionscreed with 2 Drakes just have extra tempo on the map as well. It means that if you want to go towards this Drake, all of a sudden Lightside have to respond. They have to try move to the beat of your drum. Whereas Lionscreed, a lot more impact on the game. They can say, hey, we can just allow this next Drake to go over to Lightside, and it doesn't really matter. It's only 1. It's not the end of the world. Getting those first 2 Drakes, whilst it doesn't mean the most when it is the couple of Drakes that they've picked up, just the extra tempo you get on the map can be pretty huge. And like we've said, I love the plants that it gives you. The potential for extra Blastcone gaming is always fun.
Dr. Chaos coming here to find Zuko, but he does just, you know, fly away thanks to that E. And not a whole... Well, actually, I was going to say not a whole lot either team can do here, but look at this. Contesting over the vision maybe could lead to something. Panda lurking on the river here, trying to find something. Dr. Chaos on the other side does move up, but I think it's just to push the minions. Dragon not up for another 3.5 minutes, so probably not going to see any action until then. Both these teams, especially now that we're at match point, want to play this one as safe as possible. We've seen it in the bottom lane. We're now seeing it as we reach the 15-minute mark. Both these teams just being very careful.
Tiptoeing around each other at this point in the game. Only 4 kills. We're almost 15 minutes in. This is the slow-paced League of Legends that you end up getting the higher levels of play, not the 30, 40, 50 kill affairs that we end up seeing in solo queue. but the kills being where they are is impactful. Getting that early kill onto EMP and Bucci has really allowed them to move around the map a lot more securely. Has kept Bucci in this game in a way previously he hasn't been. The Renekton was pretty weak, still impactful into the backline, but big stuns.
Look at this beautiful engage, but I mean that was an instant cleanse from Nitchit on that Ash arrow, able to get away from now. Nice ultimate as well to follow
the Mega Storm.
Going so well for Lightside.
TP?
Can turn around now that TP's coming in from Zewix, trying to find an entry as Panda has picked up one kill, ults right into the backline onto EMP, finds a kill. Meanwhile, Spike, Zuko, and Emil also low, but it does not matter. There's just no way to finish them off. 4 members of Lightside going down after what looked like a great start to the fight.
Huge plays right there out of Lionscreed. And it was just the backline ultimate, actually, the Frozen Tomb. Watch the Frozen Tomb right here. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
That when Emil lays that one down, the early aggression onto Nitchit just doesn't work out, and it buys enough time for the rest of Lionscreed to get involved. See this teleport coming in here, and the Frozen Tomb onto Nitchit just to take him out. I mean, the aggression as well out of Zewix to know that you can just go all the way in, showstopper. Haymaker to just about keep himself alive, has to flash in the end. Spiky picking up that final kill as well, and it was just the chaos of the back and forth that meant that Lionscreed were able to buy enough time for themselves. Bucci needs to be careful here, is gonna avoid the knock-up at least.
Speaking of buying time, Bucci needs to buy time for his team to come up. Emp has arrived to help him survive that situation, so no kill going over to Lionscreed there, but still, we're up 6-3. Probably about a 1.5k gold in that aspect, so it's not the end of the world. That fight was pretty bad, but still is not the worst situation for Lightside. Though, with this Herald being started up, no one on that side of the map to contest it. It's going down so quickly. If Lionscreed can use this Herald well, it could be a very opportune way for them to spell the end of this game.
Now the second Rift Herald picked up right now for Lionscreed. They've definitely had better map rotations in this game than in the previous couple, and that's something Lionscreed usually do so well. Good to see them getting back onto form. 2,000 gold in the lead as well. Got at Drake spawning in 40 seconds time. Big bot lane wave being pushed through here for Nidgit. Gonna be able to deal a decent chunk of damage to this turret too as EMP. Blast cone?
Yeah, might be in some trouble here. Ulted away from the blast cone,
Yep.
and that is a dead tree man who is going to be possessed by Diego, who is just gonna go over. Wait, I didn't even know you can mark things for your. Oh wait, no, that was the other path. Okay, well anyways, Spike clearing this one out, but yeah, now Tracker coming up in 5 seconds. EMP down. I'm surprised to not see Lionscreed already going to contest this, but now Panda up making his way over should be able to pick this one up with the Herald charging mid. And now we are one step closer to what should be sole point for Lionscreed.
EMP just way out of position, didn't have the support. Sure, you know, Nidgit was pushing up, taking out onto this turret. But as Ivan, you do want to invade, going a little bit too far, getting caught out. Then you lose out on this soul point dragon as well. Lionscreed putting themselves into a very good position in this one as well. Stealing away onto some more camps too. If we take a look at just the CS differences right here, there's a huge difference for Bucci in the top lane, but Zewix, those ultimates have just been more impactful so far, despite the fact that he's down by about 500 gold. It's not as bad as it could be, simply because every single time that showstopper is used, it's finding kills or just making a team fight work for Lionscreed.
Zewix, well, we've been talking about Bucci this entire time. I'm sure he got tired of it once we talked about himself, and hey, there you go. Now we're talking about you. Absolutely stellar on the set so far. Lightside looking to push in this mid lane, try to get a turret, but it's just not enough information to really get any sort of siege going. I think it's going to be another one of those moments where there's just not a whole lot going on in between the objective fights. Like I said, we are at match point, so both these teams playing very safe, don't want to give the other team any opportunity to run away with the game, but if Lionscreed pick up that soul, that could very well be the case.
It could be. We'll have to see which of these teams is going to pull the trigger first on this next team fight. Lionscreed absolutely have the tempo in their favor right now. 20 seconds until this Baron spawns, and they can really make a choice between which they want. You can give away one Drake if you want to as Lionscreed to try to pick up a Baron. You don't necessarily have to, you can just fight for this Baron already. Big pressure onto this top lane. Turret taking a big chunk of damage, and with no real follow-up, looks like Emil should be able to take this one down. Will be all of those outer turrets completely gone. Lionscreed, a lot of map pressure for themselves. Baron has now spawned, and with good vision into the opposition jungle as well, Lightside, they're going to find it very difficult to walk up and try to check in onto this Baron. Still though, I don't see Lionscreed trying to take it without at least getting themselves a pick first.
I was a bit worried there with the way that Lionscreed were pathing. I was like, oh no, please don't tell me they're going to start the Baron immediately. But luckily, they took their recalls. Going to be going to the bottom side of the map, dragging up in about 3 minutes. So maybe we need to start getting some vision down to control that part of the map. Kinda... Oh, actually... Oh, never mind. I thought something was going on this side of the screen. Just some vision clearing by the Rakan there. But supports now meeting each other. And then some poke as well. Maybe this could turn into something over there. Oh, it's a replay. Oh. Never mind. I was just told this is a replay. As we're looking at it here. Ooh. And it's unfortunate. The flash had to be burned there.
Yeah, that's a pretty big engage tool.
Yeah, I mean, especially for Rakan, he needs that flash to close the gap. People very aware of his engage distance, want to play back, and now that he doesn't have that to close the distance even further, it could be problematic. If I had $1 for every time I had to burn flash clearing vision, I would be a very rich man, so I definitely feel Zuko's pain there.
It can be a little bit risky, doesn't give away a kill though, still going to be perfectly happy about that one. It's Rakan, has plenty of ways to get out and into fights. You do want that flash, of course, it gives you that bit extra of engage range, which can be huge on this champion, but at the same time, not the end of the world. Big darkness right here for Lightside that they're going to have to walk into. Oops, Cryer's Bloom. Going to be, you know, helping them see into the pit. Going to have to blow that ultimate painful. Walking forwards and started up.
Yeah, they started the Baron now. Okay. Might want to turn. Zuko does pop the quickness, trying to find somebody, but a nice ultimate from Dr. Chaos to try to keep things contained, but it's just too much. And they're completely cutting off any chance of a counter engage with that critical arrow. Now SPK on the other side, trying to see if maybe we can find something, but now Emil in some danger. Does just go on and teleport away. Vision being regained by Lightside, but still a very nice pick from Lionscreed. Nothing to really follow it up with since they just have enough people dead for Baron and there's no Dragon, but still, Dragon up in 50 seconds. They have that little bit of extra gold to help them going into it.
What Lionscreed really want right here. Of course, the Baron would have been nice just then, but instead you managed to get yourself a teleport out and get a nice quick kill. Dr. Chaos going a little bit too far forwards, just trying to keep the rest of his team alive, potentially look for an engage. Didn't quite work out in this situation, and that's something that we've been seeing quite a lot out of Lightside, trying to find those early engages, either Bucci or Chaos going in, but not really having any of the follow-up from the rest of your team. That's something you don't usually struggle when you've got yourself an Ivan. You know, as soon as you manage to land that Q, you can jump forwards into auto-attack range. It's really useful to make picks like that work out. Instead, though, ends up with a kill over to Lionscreed, as we do jump into a quick pause right before the most important team fight that we're going to be seeing so far around this Soul Point Dragon for Lionscreed.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest fights of the game, if not the series in general. Lionscreed, if they want to take this to Game 5, need to secure the Soul. It's always very anxiety-inducing whenever there's a pause right before important fights like this. We had it in the second game. I think it was the second or first game, but nonetheless, now getting out of it. Lionscreed have a nice setup here. Lightside have to walk into them fairly blind. But the thing about Chemtech Soul is, Chemtech Soul, is that you do get those very strong Strang Orbs that bring the wards into one-shot range for you, so it's very nice to get regaining of vision control. Goes in your back pocket, Bucci. Some poke damage. I want to iterate that it's some. It's not a lot, but still. They're sieging in this mid lane. And look at that, Crusairo does find Painful, who does off for now, but now Zuko going in. Might be in some danger. Nice ultimate from Painful. Get some damage on the exit for Lionscreed, but still nothing going on quite yet. No big fights. That could change any moment. EMP not able to find the snare there. Nice Q there from Zuko to heal up the Lissandra. Now Dr. Chaos coming onto the side here, trying to find an entry. Bucci in the front. Nice snare. Does find it this time, so Daisy goes over just to harass.
Daisy!
She's so low already. To use the Haymaker. Now, not going to have a lot of health. Has to probably recall and teleport back if they want to, but now Lightside going to start this dragon up. Recall is being used by Zuix. We'll have to see if he teleports to follow. Lightside trying to keep Lionscreed away from this dragon, trying to keep him away from the soul. And have done it. They take it for now, prevent the soul from happening. No teleport from Zuix. They know it's gone. We'll have to see if Lionscreed wants to look for the, Lightside want to look for the engage here. Can't really find anything with how far away Zuko and Spike are playing. And once again, probably going to be subjected to another 5 minutes of watching everybody farm and get vision.
Quite possibly, but in that team fight, painful. Really making the absolute most of this Ziggs, just constantly throwing down those bouncing bombs, making sure that nobody from Lionscreed could step up without just getting poked down. Losing a huge chunk of their HP, especially when you've got that Leandri's burns for so much at this point. And then the other MVP of that team fight that managed to stop the soul going over to Lionscreed. I mean, it was Daisy. Daisy into the backline, making sure that Zuix just couldn't do anything. It's a Moonstone Ivan as well. This is not a full AP Ivan where Daisy can actually deal a good chunk of damage. No. Daisy was just being annoying. Those knockups meant that Zuix had to keep running, was on the back foot. Wasn't able to just find those big engages that we've been seeing out of him so far in this series. So all it really took for Lionscreed to not be able to pick up that Drake. Lightside finds that one, and it was a long road for them to get to Soul, but just delaying further and further is exactly what you want to do as Lightside. Really well executed team fight for them right now. And we go back, like you said, to the back and forth, slow dance. As we wait to see who manages to pick themselves up a Baron, potentially, or maybe we do just wait 5 minutes for the next Drake.
You never know with the Ashe, could try to look for something. Bucci looked like he wanted to go on to Zuko, but Zuko unfortunately does have that grand entrance to just make his exit, so not a whole lot of options there. For Lightside to find the pick, but they are going to push this wave in with solo laners on either side lane. This should just go over to them. It seems like Lionscreed recognize that, and yeah, the poke is just so good here for these sieges, keeping them far away, and then the satchel charge to finish off the turret gives them an easy exit rotation out. Gonna try to stop Zuix. Well, tried to, but he is just gonna go right back to base. And now with Lionscreed dancing around this Baron buff, does make me worry a bit. For Lightside, they don't want to dedicate too much to the bottom side of the map. Panda does have the vision control. They do have to walk into this blind if Lightside want to check this Baron. They are putting down pings to make it seem like... that ultimate almost cancel Ashe's recall, but unfortunately it did not.
Yep, gonna go through. And this is a real show of the stylistic differences between these two teams. Lightside has got a ton of poke and is using it incredibly effectively, whereas Lionscreed, they want to go in as a full 5-man stack and find that initial kill, because you're getting resets both on Emil's passive and then fully on Panda to be able to pick up other champions' bodies, use them to his advantage. If you don't get that initial kill, Lionscreed, they're just not as effective as a composition, but it's proving incredibly difficult for Lionscreed to actually find that first pick because they're going into these team fights with half health. You can't step up, Painful poking you out. Midget as well, whenever he has that green gun, able to do the exact same thing. Zuko keeps having to use those grand entrances to leap back over the walls. And Spiky hasn't been an absolute laser point precision machine with those ultimates, meaning that that initial engage hasn't been working out quite so well. Lionscreed, don't get me wrong, are still in a good position. They've still got 2k up in terms of gold. They're still on soul point. But it's getting harder and harder to play versus the just ridiculous poke that comes out from Lightside.
No. Chaos might run into Zuko here, who just wasting the Felios turret meanwhile, but Dragon coming up in about 55 seconds, could maybe look for another fight there. Baron up as well. Maybe we could see the sort of trade that you talked about earlier with Lionscreed, letting Lightside go to that Dragon and pick up the Baron instead. We'll have to see. Vision is definitely being prioritized on that side of the map for them. Not too interested in getting some vision down on Dragon's side despite Soul Point in their grasp. Uchi going forward to try to find Speed Gate, but he's fighting there on his part. As this Ashe, that's been a very, I'm trying to think of the word here, predominant in with all these games, not only being picked up every draft, but making a giant impact on all these games. But it does seem like this game in particular, the Ashe hasn't quite had the chance to come online and really pop off in this team fight.
No, not in the same way at all. Just in a situation right now where Lionscreed haven't been able to find those initial engages, and Spikey's been having to sit on the back foot and run in a lot of these situations. Lightside trying to get a little bit more poke down. This Drake has now spawned. Lionscreed directly onto it is getting melted down relatively quickly. Daisy is summoned. Lightside going for the engage.
Yeah, they're going in here. Zuko pops the quickness to try to get away, but a nice ultimate there to insect back into the team. Emil does have to use the ultimate to try to escape. Nice. Six there for the area of effect damage. Just so huge. Lionscreed, though, getting some nice damage on the exit. Zuko has to walk away while Emil falls down. Bucci, I really thought Bucci was dead there, but somehow survives. As now, it was very chaotic, but still 2-0 in favor of Lightside, who are gonna pick up this dragon and once again prevent the soul point, or the soul, sorry.
Back line Bucci. I'm telling you, that is one of the best bits about Lightside right now. This is a main team fight play around the top side of your screen, but the biggest and most impactful thing is actually happening towards the bottom side of the map, where Bucci gets onto Spikey, keeps him out of this team fight, and then the rest of the members of Lightside are just able to clean up the rest of the team fight. Bucci doesn't even die here and just buys enough time where the Ashe is distracted, isn't able to be dealing damage, for them to win out onto this team fight, pick up the Drake as well. Now denied that soul once again out of Lionscreed, and we're back to the dance around the Baron and waiting another 5 minutes potentially. All these previous games have been pretty fast back and forth. This one feels pretty slow, and this gold lead is slowly but surely being chipped away for Lionscreed. The early stages of the game were going really well for the squad. All of a sudden, Lightside coming back into this one, chipping away, chipping away. They are going to be able to overtake in one more team fight victory. The Baron, despite being up, hasn't really been threatened so far.
Yeah, no real threat onto the Baron, but it does seem like maybe that could change. A lot of Lionscreed members coming over to that side of the map. They do have Zerix with teleport on the bottom side as well. But, I mean, it's just too dangerous to try to start a Baron with both these. Either team, really. Can't just start it up. They have to wait for a pick to happen before they can rotate over. Which kind of leaves us, as we've said several times, in this lull state where both these teams are just continuing to try to get more gold in their pocket, more vision around the map. And Lightside, it seems to be favoring them this pace of play. SPK might need to look for some Crystal Arrow picks soon. Lightside just getting some vision. Speaking of pick, Dr. Chaos might be in some trouble here. Nice ultimate though.
Huge ult.
This is not good for Lionscreed at all. They are split up. And AMB gets the kill onto Emil. Bucci continuing to walk in, this time on the Zuix, who might be in trouble. Gonna get knocked back into the team, but look at this ultimate into the middle of all of them. Haymaker is just knocked away by Bucci, and now Zuko's gonna fall down. Panda trying to find some kills, but it's just not there. Nidget picking up a double in his pocket, and now Lightside not even interested in the Baron. They're gonna push. This could be into the game. This is the Ziggs we're talking about. Use the sap to charge out of that turret, and they're continuing to push. It's just Zuix, 20 seconds on Emil, but I don't think it's enough time. Lightside might have found the fight they wanted to end this game. Zuix on the side here trying to find a way to defend his turrets, but it's just not possible. They're even gonna jump on him to try to kill him. Haymaker comes out for a good amount of damage, but that's an ace coming through from Lightside. They got a absolutely demolished in the first game, and it did not affect them at all. Absolutely unfazed as Emil trying to save the game, but it's just not gonna happen. Ninja gonna end it, and Lightside will secure the rematch against Munster in the semifinals.
Super impressive performance right here out of Lightside. Game one, it was just the warm-up. It was just the warm-up. It's all good because from that moment onwards, back and forth series, sure, but Lightside never really felt out of control. Even during this game, where the early game was pretty Lionscreed favored, it never felt like they were out of touching distance, constantly keeping up, and all it took, all all it took was for Painful to get online, and those Mega Inferno bombs were just shredding people in the backline. Really exemplified by the fact that in that last team fight, it was a big engage out of Lionscreed directly onto the realm. Didn't manage to get that kill right until the very last moment, where Zewix was trying to pick up that kill onto realm. Just wasn't able to do so because the team had run out of damage. They were more early game focused. Those 3 items were coming through for all of Lightside's members, and once that composition came online, there was nothing they could do. They're just getting poked out before team fight started and then out-rotated. And it's so odd. It's so odd to say, if you just look at scorelines, that Bucci might be my MVP, but he was just in the backline at all times and made sure there was just nothing that the carries for Lionscreed could do. If you're not able to stand there and auto-attack as an Ashe, you're not helpful, and Bucci did not, for a single second, let Spikey just sit there and auto-attack.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say the same thing. As much as Painful was doing damage in all these games, and as impactful as Nidget was, Bucci was just controlling every single game with the backline presence. I talked about game 1, how he didn't have the worst performance in the world, but it was still a little shaky. But every other game after that, just dominating the backline, finding a way in every time. And that last fight, well, not the last fight technically, but the last big fight, preventing that Haymaker from hitting all of his allies, has to be my MVP if I had to pick.
Just really impressive performance, and it's just not the way that we're used to seeing top laners play. You do want to get into the backline, but a lot of top laners also try to stick a little bit closer to their front line just to keep them alive, add a little bit of extra peel, but instead, Bucci knew that he had champions that could heal for a ton, and just went flying into the backline. Both the Cassante and the Renekton are now champions that you might want to think about banning away. And talking of the man, should be a Bucci interview coming up. I can't wait to ask him about his decision making, because the confidence, honestly, it takes to go into the backline like that, because if you die almost immediately, you've just inted and your team is a little bit screwed. But he knew that he wasn't going to do that, was able to kite around, keep the backline of Lionscreed honest. Yeah, really well played.
I mean, incredibly well played by Bucci. I'm excited to have him in here for the post-game interview. And, you know, for their rematch with Monster, the first time that they did face each other, it did not go well at all. It was a 3-0. But now, with this new refound confidence, you wonder, will they, put up obviously, we'll put up a better fight this time around, but how good will it be? Will they be able to pick up the match win and face Venomcrest in the finals? Or are we going to get another rematch in that aspect of Monster versus Venomcrest?
Who gets to lose to Venomcrest is the real
question. That's the real question. Who's going to lose to Venomcrest in the finals? They look unstoppable.
No. I believe it is straight copium, but I believe that somebody is going to take a game off of Venomcrest.
We need to put like a bounty up. Take one game away.
Yeah,
from
one
Venomcrest.
game. One game off of Venomcrest. I mean, honestly, Monster and now Lightside have played really impressive tournaments. Lightside have played a ton of games. Got 3-0 by Monster last time around. Went to all 5 when they played up against Blue Whites. Now they've gone to 4 games versus Lionscreed. This team with super up and down performances, but clearly if you catch them on a good day, it's not going to go well for you. Blue Whites have fallen to them. Now Lionscreed have also gone through that Lightside killing machine. Monster have got to be watching on and got to be a little bit nervous. Sure, they beat them out 3-0 last time, but it doesn't feel like that was the same beast. The way that a lot of these Lightside players were just playing around each other, the map rotation was super clean. Should be a fascinating matchup on Thursday, I think, is the matchup between Lightside and Monster. So, if you are around on Thursday, you don't want to miss that one.
No, I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that one. For the unofficial, I guess, second place game. I guess is what they're going for. But you never know with how both these teams have been playing. We could see maybe an upset, but that's a big maybe. We'll have to see when we get to Sunday, August 27th for the finals. But it should be interesting. I'm sure Venomcrest are watching with close eyes, looking for weaknesses in all these teams that they can exploit. And in just a second, we should be getting Bucci in here for the interview. But I do want to talk about him one more time, specifically that Renekton. The late game Renekton, the rare crocodile. Probably, I would hope, will be banned away from him the rest of this playoffs. Not just the match against MRG, but if they do make it to finals, has to be banned away. Because if you can find a way to be useful on Renekton with no gold in your pocket at 25 minutes, 30 minutes, you just shouldn't be allowed on that champion. You're too impactful.
No, you should not be finding any success on a Renekton post 20 minutes into the game. Instead, was brilliant on that champion, forcing a ban out as well, which was fascinating because we said early on in the series that Lionscreed were the ones who had 3 things that you just basically had to ban. All of a sudden, you don't have to ban out that LeBlanc anymore, and Lionscreed on the back foot having to ban out some specific things from Lightside, and proving Bucci that he had a deeper champion pool than the things that he was allowed to play. Didn't just have that Renekton, was able to pull himself out that Cassante, and once again get into the backline and wreak havoc.
Yep. And for Lightside going into their match against NRG, I think maybe they need to keep up this theme of putting Bucci on those big, beefy, quote unquote, frontliners that find their way into the backline. Because that definitely does seem to be working out very well for them. Worked well on the Cassante, worked well on the Renekton. So definitely need to see more of that coming out of them. Could be a key factor to get them into the finals.
Really could be. And I mean, what more could you want, honestly, out of these teams than to show them having some improvement? I really want to see these teams manage to continue throughout the entire split, because at the start of this Div 2, some messy play, whereas the actual team fight and team rotation that we've been seeing out of the teams have been getting better and better and better. All of these players have been developing real strong styles that we've been seeing, and it's just been super nice to see. I'll be fascinated as well to watch the relegations and promotions tournament, because clearly Venom Crest are too big right now for Division 2. If they end up not winning out on the split, I will personally be shocked. I hope somebody can upset them. At the same time, the Venom Crest boys are lovely, and it'd be awesome to see them pull through. Hope that it's going to be either Monster or Lightside, though, who are able to give us a bit of an upset, and then move on potentially to that relegations.
Well, we'll have to hear from the man himself going into our post-game interview. The man, the myth, the legend, the late game Renekton main Bucci joining us here for our post-game interview.
There we go.
All righty. Hello, Bucci. Gonna be
Hello.
Green. Look at that. With your nice little setup there, beautiful face. How you doing today? You feeling good after that performance?
Of course. Nothing better than winning an official before school tomorrow.
Some nice confidence to go in the class, picking up a big win. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. I'm not sure if you heard it, but you were very oddly impactful for Renekton at that late into the game. Like I thought I would never say late game Renekton is carrying, but you were just carrying on that late game Renekton.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Gotta mess with Spike a bit when he's playing ADC in enemy team.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you were very disruptive on the ADCs, not letting them get any opportunity to kite. Bloxer, I know you wanted to ask some questions yourself about his decision making.
I mean, with the champions that you were being put onto, the Renekton and that Cassante, going into the backline is obviously what those champions want to do, but was it a predetermined thing where you had spoken to the rest of your team, I'm going to go into the backline and try to stop Spike from being able to get anything done? Or was it a bit of a heat of the moment, you witnessed him being out of position and just went for him out of nowhere?
I mean, I think it depends on the games, right? But in most of the games, I was looking for Spike, making sure that he couldn't auto-attack. I mean, especially last game when I played Cassante, there was one fight where I just kidnapped him when they went in. And what can I say? Cassante is a nice champion to do this stuff with. Really fun champ as well.
Yeah, very fun champion. Been seeing you a lot on that one this year, so no surprise to see you perform so well on the Cassante. I also did want to, or actually, hold on, wait a minute. I did have a question, but now I can't remember it. Oh, right. So we were talking also about how the Renekton, we've said it before, has been very good on you in this series in particular. You think that's going to draw out more bans? We did see it banned out in that last game. You think those bans are going to continue going into the next match?
Yeah,
or do you think
everybody's gonna be scared.
Yeah.
Everybody's
gonna be scared of the Renekton.
Everything. The Jace. I mean, they're gonna be scared of the Jace, the Cassante, the Renekton. We're just gonna have to list it on, man.
Yeah, and you do usually prefer stuff like the Jace, the more aggressive top lane picks. Is it at all? Does it feel weird whenever you're kind of forced to play the more tanky support? Sorry, not supports, top laners that aren't as big in the damage, or is it just effortless comfort for you?
I mean, I do a lot of damage on these champions, so as well, it's no worries. But I mean, yeah, of course, it's really fun to play Jace, but you know, I think Jace mid is more consistent than Jace top lane in a lot of scenarios.
It can, give a little bit more consistency. The top lane's still fun. Hopefully, we can see you pull it out. I'm really sorry to have to ask this, but what happened in game one?
Oh, I mean, at least it wasn't perfect game. Got solo top turret, so we made sure that they couldn't really get it all. But you know, first game is always warm-up game, so we made sure that they had a bit of fun. You know, like we also, I mean, I'm just gonna give credit to Spike as well. You played really well this series. I mean, I'm sorry, bro, that we had to take you out. It was for my own, benefit. But wait, I forgot what I was saying. But
Just what happened, but let's say between games 1 and 2, because game 1, clearly things went wrong pretty much early on. You said warm-up game. Was there any conversations between games 1 and 2 where you were like, yeah, this is what happened, or was it just, let's put that one behind us and move on?
Yeah, I mean, game 1 was a bit complicated as well, right? Because it was like, I mean, my ADC and support had a bit of, technical issues. I think that also affected the game, right? I think though, I mean, I think the first game was like, I think if we didn't have as much technical issues and stuff, it would have been a bit more like competitive game anyways, even though we fell behind in the early game. But I mean, what can I say? I mean, we gotta give the first game if we were gonna take 3. Like, we can't just...
Can't be greedy with them. Can't take all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta make it interesting. Gotta keep the viewers in, Gotta draw everybody in.
Especially, it's not every day. Oh, wait, my camera went boom, I think.
Oh.
That's unfortunate.
Well,
I'm gonna try to quickly solve it.
But I don't have any more questions myself. I can't think of anything at least. I don't know, Bluxer, if you had anything else you wanted to ask.
While you attempt to fix your camera, I'll just, once again reiterate for the audience that you guys now go on to face against Monster. You played them already, and it went pretty poorly, 0-3. The winner versus Monster and you guys will go on to face Venomcrest. The question would just be, how do you think you're going to do? Oh, there we go.
There we
Camera's
go, back in business.
How do you feel about this about this upcoming matchup versus Monster? And then whether you or Monster win out on that matchup, do you think either of you can take a game off of Venomcrest?
I mean, I think we're gonna beat Venomcrest.
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
So do you think you can take a game off of Venomcrest easily?
Nah, I think we're taking more than one. I think we're taking 3.
All of them. Okay.
Right. I'll hold you on to it, Bucci, all the way from there. If you do make it to the finals, I expect a victory from Lightside. I don't want anything less. I don't want a 3-2 loss. I need a victory from you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'll promise you at least we're taking a game. At least.
You're taking a game?
At least one game. Okay.
And then also, like I think it's time. I think me like Panda. I want to play against him again. I think it's really good. It's about time. Like it was so long ago last time around. So we're looking forward to that matchup as well. And I mean, I think Kaga's also a great player. So I mean, it's gonna be some fun top lane matchups coming up. Expect some fist fighting in top lane.
Yeah, we are expecting bangers non-stop from you, Bucci. Thank you so much for joining us for the interview. I'll let you go celebrate with the team now and go prepare for your match on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the big victory.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it from us. As I said, Thursday will be the semi-final matchup. It will be a rematch between Monster and Lightside. After that, on Sunday, will be the finals. Venomcrest waiting for either of those teams, trying to secure this spot. And although Bucci is confident that they will take the match, Venomcrest look very good going into this. Haven't dropped a single game. We'll have to see if that confidence will hold up.
Yeah, I really hope that somebody can at least take a game off of Venomcrest, whether or not you're actually able to beat out on the series. To be able to take 3 games off of them, something that no team has managed to even do once, would be an incredibly impressive feat. But I love the confidence out of Bucci, and it will be a fascinating matchup, like he said, on Thursday versus Monster. Monster have been looking really strong in this tournament as well, so let's see who's able to do it. I simply cannot wait, and even if Lightside do end up losing out on that game versus Monster, we will still see them in that promotion relegation tournament for Division 1. They're just playing for seed at this point. It will be both Venomcrest And Lightside, I'm very grateful that we're going to get to see them again because this team is just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, they are a ton of fun to watch, and you will be able to watch plenty more of them, as I said, on Thursday and hopefully on Sunday as well. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by. We will see you on the next stream. Stay tuned, and everybody have a fantastic night.